The Lizzie Borden house, an unassuming structure located at 230 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, is steeped in one of America's most infamous mysteries. Built in the mid-19th century, the house became the property of Andrew Borden in 1872. Andrew, a successful bank president and a prominent figure in Fall River's high society, was known for his austere lifestyle. Despite his considerable wealth, Andrew preferred practicality over luxury, choosing a modest house over the more opulent homes of his social peers. This decision was influenced by the house's proximity to his business on Main Street, reflecting his practical mindset. Originally designed as a two-family residence, Andrew had the house remodeled to accommodate his family's needs. The renovations connected the two separate apartments into a single home, yet Andrew still resisted modern conveniences. The house had no indoor plumbing or electricity, features that were becoming common in homes of their status at the time. Instead, the family made do with chamber pots under their beds and a two-stall privy in the basement, contributing to the home's outdated feel. This frugality extended to the interior, which was furnished in a plain, utilitarian style. The Borden family consisted of Andrew, his second wife Abby, and his two daughters from his first marriage, Emma and Lizzie. Bridget, the Irish maid, lived in the attic and helped with household chores. Despite Andrew's high social standing, the family lived a relatively isolated life, partly due to Lizzie's embarrassment over their modest living conditions. Lizzie, in particular, found it difficult to reconcile their middle-class home with the expectations of her wealthy friends, leading to a life with few social gatherings. This quiet existence took a sinister turn on August 4th, 1892. That morning, the household was plunged into horror when Andrew and Abby Borden were found brutally murdered. Andrew's body was discovered on the sofa in the sitting room, his face savagely hacked by an axe. Abby was found upstairs in the guest bedroom, similarly attacked and left in a pool of blood. The gruesome nature of the murders shocked the community and quickly garnered national attention. The investigation that followed was intense and highly publicized. Suspicion quickly fell on Lizzie, who was at home during the time of the murders. The trial became a media sensation, with newspapers across the country covering every detail. Despite the evidence presented against her, Lizzie was acquitted of the murders in June 1893. The jury found the case against her to be circumstantial and insufficient to convict her beyond a reasonable doubt. After the trial, Lizzie and her sister Emma moved out of the 2nd Street house. Lizzie purchased a more fashionable home on French Street, which she named Maplecroft. She lived there until her death in 1927, maintaining a life marked by the lingering shadow of the infamous trial. Meanwhile, the house on 2nd Street remained a site of morbid curiosity, its ordinary exterior belying the gruesome events that had unfolded within. In 1896, the house's address was changed from 92 2nd Street to 230 2nd Street, an attempt to perhaps dissociate from its dark past. Yet, the house's reputation only grew over time, becoming a focal point for those fascinated by the macabre and the unsolved mystery of the Borden murders. In 1948, the house was purchased by Martha McGinn's grandparents, who later turned it into a bed and breakfast in 1996. Visitors flocked to the site, eager to stay in the rooms where the murders occurred and to perhaps encounter the spirits said to haunt the premises. The Borden house's transformation into a bed and breakfast included tours that meticulously detailed the events of that fateful August morning. Tour guides were restricted to discussing the factual aspects of the case, yet the atmosphere of the house lent itself to a pervasive sense of unease. Rooms were furnished to reflect the period of the murders, complete with replicas of the crime scene, such as a mannequin in the guest room where Abby was killed, and autopsy photographs on the dining room table. Over the years, numerous visitors and paranormal enthusiasts have claimed to experience ghostly phenomena within the house. These tales have only added to the legend of the Lizzie Borden house, making it a must-visit location for those interested in true crime and the supernatural. The Lizzie Borden house, with its unassuming exterior, hides a chilling and eerie interior that has fascinated and terrified visitors for decades. Stepping inside, one is immediately struck by the period decor that painstakingly recreates the late 19th century ambience. Dark wood paneling, antique furniture, and dim lighting contribute to a sense of stepping back in time, into a house that still carries the heavy silence of its grisly past. The narrow hallways and creaky floors add to the house's unsettling atmosphere. Every corner seems to whisper secrets, and the air feels thick with history and sorrow. The parlor, where Andrew Borden was found murdered, remains one of the most unsettling rooms in the house. The sofa where his body was discovered still stands, a grim reminder of the brutality that took place. Visitors often report feeling an inexplicable chill as they stand in this room, imagining the horrific scene that once unfolded there. Upstairs, the guest bedroom where Abby Borden met her violent end is perhaps even more haunting. The room is eerily quiet, and the sight of the bed where her body was found sends shivers down the spine of anyone who enters. The mannequin placed in the room serves as a macabre focal point, a visual representation of the murder that still looms large in the collective imagination of those who visit. The room's decor remains true to the period, with heavy drapes and old-fashioned wallpaper, adding to the feeling of being trapped in a time warp. The attic, where the maid Bridget Sullivan lived, is another area that exudes a sense of unease. The cramped space, with its low ceilings and sparse furnishings, feels claustrophobic. Visitors often feel a sense of being watched, or an overwhelming sadness when they enter this space, attributing these feelings to the lingering presence of Bridget or other spirits tied to the house. The kitchen and dining room also play their part in the house's eerie charm. The dining room table, adorned with autopsy photographs, is a stark reminder of the forensic examination that followed the murders. The juxtaposition of everyday items with these grim relics creates a surreal and disconcerting experience. The kitchen, with its old iron stove and outdated appliances, seems frozen in time, preserving the daily life of the Borden family before tragedy struck. At night, the house takes on an even more sinister character. Shadows cast by the flickering light create unsettling shapes, and the usual creaks and groans of an old house take on a more ominous tone. Many guests who stay overnight report hearing unexplained footsteps, whispers, and the sound of doors opening and closing on their own. The house, shrouded in darkness, seems alive with the restless spirits of its past. Despite these unnerving elements, the Lizzie Borden house continues to attract visitors drawn to its dark history and the possibility of encountering something otherworldly. Each room tells a story, and the walls seem to hold on to the emotions and energies of those who lived and died within them. This oppressive atmosphere, coupled with the house's tragic history, creates an environment that is both fascinating and terrifying, a place where the past and present seem to blur together in a continuous loop of horror and intrigue. The house has become a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and ghost hunters, all eager to experience the supernatural activity that has been reported for years. Visitors often recount a variety of eerie experiences that defy logical explanation, making the house one of the most haunted locations in the United States. One of the most common paranormal encounters in the house involves the apparition of an older woman, believed to be Abby Borden. She is frequently seen in the guest bedroom, where she was brutally murdered. Guests who stay in this room report waking up in the middle of the night to see a misty figure standing at the foot of the bed. Some have even claimed to feel a cold hand touch their face or shoulder, as if Abby herself is trying to communicate from beyond the grave. In the parlor, where Andrew Borden was killed, visitors often experience an overwhelming sense of dread and sadness. Many have reported seeing the shadowy figure of a man sitting on the sofa, where Andrew was found dead. This figure is usually accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, and some people have felt a pressure on their chest as if they are being watched or suffocated. The unsettling feeling often lingers long after they have left the room, leaving a lasting impression of the house's haunted nature. The attic, where the maid Bridget Sullivan once slept, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Investigators using EVP, electronic voice phenomena, equipment have captured clear recordings of a woman's voice, believed to be Bridget's, calling out for help or pleading for someone to leave her alone. Visitors have also heard footsteps pacing back and forth in the attic, even when the space is completely empty. The sound of a woman softly crying can sometimes be heard, adding to the sense of sorrow and unease that permeates the house. The basement, where Andrew Borden installed a 2-stall privy, is considered by many to be the most terrifying part of the house. Dark and dank, the basement has an oppressive atmosphere that seems to amplify the fear of those who enter it. Visitors have reported seeing dark figures moving in the shadows, hearing disembodied voices, and feeling an inexplicable sense of being watched. Some have even claimed to feel an icy breath on their neck, as if a ghostly presence is standing right behind them. Guests who stay overnight at the bed and breakfast often experience a range of unexplained phenomena. Many report hearing the sound of children laughing and playing, despite there being no children on the property. Others have described the feeling of someone sitting on the edge of their bed, only to find no one there when they turn on the light. Doors open and close by themselves. Objects move without explanation, and lights flicker on and off, creating an environment of constant unease. The staff and tour guides at the Lizzie Borden house have their own share of ghostly encounters. Many have seen apparitions, heard strange noises, and felt sudden cold spots while conducting tours or going about their daily tasks. Some refuse to enter certain parts of the house alone, and a few have even quit their jobs after particularly frightening experiences. These paranormal sightings and encounters have only added to the house's legend, drawing more and more curious visitors each year. The chilling tales of ghostly apparitions, eerie sounds, and unexplained phenomena make the Lizzie Borden house a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, creating an atmosphere that is both fascinating and terrifying. The stories of ghostly encounters at the Lizzie Borden house continue to intrigue and terrify those who dare to visit. As more people share their experiences, a clearer picture of the supernatural activity within the house emerges, solidifying its reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. One particularly chilling account comes from a guest who stayed in the infamous guest bedroom. She awoke in the middle of the night to the sensation of being watched. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw a faint, glowing figure of a woman standing at the foot of her bed. The figure's eyes seemed to bore into her soul, and the room became unbearably cold. Paralyzed with fear, the guest watched as the apparition slowly faded away, leaving her breathless and trembling. The next morning, she found bruises on her arms, as if someone had gripped her tightly during the night. Another spine-tingling story involves a group of paranormal investigators who spent the night in the house. Using their equipment, they captured several EVPs, including a clear voice saying, "Help me," and another whispering, "Leave now." In the basement, one investigator felt a sharp, icy breeze and saw a shadowy figure dart across the room. When they reviewed their footage later, they discovered a chilling image of a face peering out from behind a beam in the basement, an area that had been completely empty when they were there. Guests have also reported hearing disembodied voices throughout the house. In the dining room, where the Bordens would have had their meals, people have heard the soft murmur of conversation, as if the family is still gathered around the table. Some have even caught snippets of arguments, with a woman's voice raised in anger and a man's voice responding in a low, stern tone. These auditory phenomena often occur late at night, when the house is quiet and the atmosphere is heavy with the weight of history. One night, a couple staying in the house decided to explore the attic, where Bridget Sullivan once slept. As they climbed the narrow stairs, they heard the sound of a woman crying softly. When they reached the attic, they found it empty, but the crying continued, echoing around them. the couple felt a sudden, overwhelming sadness and decided to leave. As they descended the stairs, they felt a cold draft follow them, as if an unseen presence was urging them to go. The house's staircase, where Lizzie Borden claimed to have discovered her father's body, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Several visitors have reported feeling an invisible hand push them as they climb the stairs, causing them to stumble or lose their balance. Others have heard heavy footsteps behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. The sense of being followed or watched on the staircase is so intense that many guests refuse to use it alone. In addition to these encounters, some visitors have experienced physical sensations that they can't explain. One woman felt a sharp pain in her side as she stood in the spot where Andrew Borden was murdered. Another guest felt a sudden, intense headache while in Abby Borden's room, only for it to disappear as soon as she left. These physical reactions add another layer of mystery and fear to the already eerie atmosphere of the house. The stories of paranormal encounters at the Lizzie Borden house are numerous and varied, each adding to the legend of this haunted location. Whether it's the sight of a ghostly figure, the sound of disembodied voices, or the feeling of an invisible touch, the experiences of those who visit the house suggest that the spirits of Andrew and Abby Borden, and perhaps others, still linger within its walls, unable or unwilling to leave the place where they met their tragic end. As the tales of paranormal encounters at the Lizzie Borden house continue to spread, the fascination with this historic home shows no signs of waning. Visitors from all over the world come to experience its eerie atmosphere, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural and perhaps solve the mystery that has haunted Fall River for over a century. Despite the fear and unease that many feel within its walls, the Lizzie Borden house remains a popular destination for those drawn to the macabre and the unknown. The current owner, Lance Zoll, has embraced the house's haunted reputation, offering ghost tours, themed dinners, and even murder mystery nights to entertain and educate guests about the house's dark history. The blend of historical fact and chilling legend creates an unforgettable experience for all who visit. The house itself stands as a testament to the unresolved past, with each creak of the floorboards and each gust of wind through the old windows serving as a reminder of the grisly events that took place within. The original furnishings, carefully preserved, transport visitors back to the late 19th century, allowing them to walk the same halls and touch the same surfaces as Lizzie, Andrew, and Abby Borden. Despite the commercial aspects of the tours and events, there is a deep respect for the history and the lives lost within the home. The guides, knowledgeable about both the facts and the folklore, strive to present a balanced view of the Borden family and the tragic murders. They honor the memory of Andrew and Abby Borden, while also acknowledging the unresolved questions and the possibility of Lizzie's involvement. For those who believe in the paranormal, the Lizzie Borden house offers a unique opportunity to connect with the past. Many leave with stories of their own encounters, adding to the ever-growing collection of ghostly experiences associated with the house. Whether or not one believes in spirits, the sense of history and the weight of tragedy are undeniable. In conclusion, the Lizzie Borden house remains a place where the past and present collide, where history and legend intertwine. It's a place that challenges visitors to confront their fears, to question the unknown, and to consider the possibility that some mysteries may never be fully solved. The legacy of the Borden murders continues to captivate and terrify, ensuring that the house on 2nd Street will remain an enduring symbol of American true crime and paranormal intrigue for generations to come. New Orleans, Louisiana, is a city with a rich and haunting past. Known for its vibrant culture, lively music, and delicious cuisine, New Orleans is also famous for its ghostly legends and supernatural encounters. The city's history is deeply intertwined with tales of voodoo, spirits, and hauntings. From its early days, New Orleans has been a melting pot of cultures and traditions, creating a unique blend that has left an indelible mark on its character. Limestone in the city's geography, combined with the presence of voodoo and numerous ghost stories, has created a perfect environment for the spirit world to thrive. Over the centuries, wars, torture, and murders have taken place here, giving rise to countless ghostly legends. The French Quarter, with its narrow streets and historic buildings, is often at the center of these tales. As we explore the haunted history of New Orleans, we'll uncover stories of restless spirits, mysterious apparitions, and eerie encounters that continue to captivate and terrify locals and visitors alike. New Orleans' reputation as one of the most haunted cities in America is well-deserved. The city's dark past is filled with stories of voodoo rituals, ghostly apparitions, and untimely deaths that have left lingering spirits wandering its streets. Visitors and locals alike speak in hushed tones about the eerie encounters and supernatural experiences that seem almost commonplace in this city of shadows. One of the most infamous figures in New Orleans' haunted history is Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. Marie was a powerful and influential figure in the 19th century, known for her magical abilities and spiritual guidance. Even in death, her presence is strongly felt. Marie Laveau's tomb in the St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 is a site of pilgrimage for those seeking her favor or protection. Legend has it that if you knock 3 times on her crypt and leave an offering, her spirit might grant your wish. The cemetery itself is a maze of crumbling mausoleums and narrow pathways, where visitors often report feeling a sudden chill or seeing fleeting shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another chilling tale is that of the LaLaurie Mansion, once home to Madame Delphine LaLaurie, a socialite with a dark secret. In the early 1800s, Madame LaLaurie was known for her grand parties and luxurious lifestyle. However, a fire in her mansion revealed a horrifying secret. She had been torturing and murdering her slaves. The attic, where many of these atrocities took place, is said to be the most haunted part of the house. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported hearing screams, seeing ghostly apparitions, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. The legend of the Sultan's Palace adds another layer to the haunted history of New Orleans. The mansion at 716 Dauphine Street, also known as the Gardet-Laprate House, was the site of a gruesome massacre. According to legend, a wealthy sultan and his harem were brutally murdered in the house, their bodies left to rot. Blood was said to seep from the doorways and down the steps, staining the very soul of the building. Today, residents and visitors report ghostly apparitions, eerie sounds, and a pervasive sense of unease. Jackson Square, a historic park in the heart of the French Quarter, is another hotspot for ghostly activity. During the day, it is a bustling area filled with artists, musicians, and tourists. But at night, the atmosphere changes. The gates close, trapping any spirits inside. Those who lean against the iron fences have reported feeling a tug on their clothes or seeing ghostly hands reaching out. The square's dark past, including public executions and duels, has left a mark on the area, making it a hub for paranormal activity. The dark and winding alleyways of the French Quarter are home to many other ghost stories. Père Antoine's Alley, named after a beloved priest who worked tirelessly for the poor, is said to be haunted by his spirit. Clad in his capuchin robes, Père Antoine has been seen walking the alley in the early morning hours. His ghostly figure is often accompanied by a sense of calm, a stark contrast to the eerie encounters reported elsewhere in the city. New Orleans is a city where the past is never truly buried. The stories of haunted places and restless spirits are woven into the fabric of its history, creating a tapestry of terror that continues to captivate and frighten. As we delve deeper into the haunted locations within the city, the tales only grow darker and more disturbing, painting a picture of a place where the line between the living and the dead is blurred, and the echoes of the past are never far away. New Orleans' haunted reputation is built upon the many specific locations within the city that are believed to be haunted. These places, steeped in history and tragedy, draw countless visitors eager to experience the supernatural for themselves. One such place is the infamous LaLaurie Mansion, located at 1140 Royal Street. The mansion's dark history began with Madame Delphine LaLaurie, a wealthy socialite known for her cruelty. After the 1834 fire exposed her horrific treatment of enslaved people, the mansion became a focal point for ghostly activity. Visitors and paranormal investigators often report hearing screams and moans coming from the empty attic. Some claim to have seen the apparitions of Madame LaLaurie herself, as well as the tortured spirits of her victims. The atmosphere inside the mansion is said to be oppressively heavy, filled with the lingering sorrow and pain of those who suffered there. Another chilling location is the Sultan's Palace at 716 Dauphine Street. The legend tells of a wealthy sultan who rented the mansion with his entourage, only for them all to be brutally massacred one stormy night. Blood was found flowing down the steps the next morning, leading to the discovery of the gruesome scene inside. Today, the house is said to be haunted by the restless spirits of those who died there. Residents and visitors have reported hearing strange noises, such as the faint sound of music, laughter, and screams, as well as seeing shadowy figures moving through the rooms. Some even claim to have seen the ghostly figure of the Sultan himself, wandering the halls in his ornate robes. Le Petit Théâtre du Vieux Carré, located in the French Quarter, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. The theater, which opened in 1916, is home to several ghostly residents. One of the most famous is the spirit of Caroline, an actress from the 1930s who died tragically when she fell from a balcony during a performance. Dressed in a white wedding gown, Caroline is often seen wandering the theater, her spectral form a tragic reminder of her untimely death. Another ghostly presence is that of a sea captain who is said to watch the performances from his balcony seat, hoping to catch a glimpse of an actress he once loved. The St. Louis Cathedral, one of the oldest cathedrals in the United States, also has its share of ghostly legends. Père Antoine, a beloved priest who dedicated his life to helping the poor, is said to haunt the cathedral and the alley that bears his name. Clad in his capuchin robes, Père Antoine has been seen walking the alley in the early morning hours. Visitors to the cathedral have reported feeling a sense of calm and peace when they see his ghostly figure, a stark contrast to the eerie encounters elsewhere in the city. The Beauregard Keys house, located at 1113 Chartres Street, is another haunted landmark in New Orleans. The house, which dates back to the early 19th century, has been home to many notable figures, including Confederate General P.G.T. Beauregard. It is said that the ghosts of Civil War soldiers haunt the property, often appearing in their gray uniforms and staring off into the distance with vacant expressions. Visitors have reported hearing the sounds of gunfire and cannon blasts, as well as the pungent smell of musket fire. Some have even seen the apparitions of soldiers with mangled limbs and blown-away faces, a haunting reminder of the horrors of war. The old Absinthe House, located on Bourbon Street, is another site with a rich history of hauntings. Built in 1806, the bar was a favorite haunt of pirate Jean Lafitte, who is said to have conducted business there. Today, patrons of the bar have reported seeing the ghostly figure of Lafitte himself, often lurking in the dark corners and watching the activity with a keen eye. The bar's atmosphere is said to be charged with a sense of mystery and intrigue, as if the spirits of the past are still very much present. Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop, another establishment linked to the infamous pirate, is also believed to be haunted. Built in the 1770s, the building is one of the oldest in New Orleans and has a storied past. Visitors have reported seeing the ghostly figure of Jean Lafitte, as well as other spectral apparitions, including that of a woman in old-fashioned clothing. The bar is lit only by candles, adding to the eerie ambiance, and many patrons have claimed to feel an unseen presence watching them as they sip their drinks. The Myrtles Plantation, located just outside of New Orleans in St. Francisville, is another location with a reputation for being haunted. The plantation, which dates back to the late 18th century, is said to be home to at least 12 ghosts. One of the most famous is that of Chloe, a former slave who was reportedly hanged for poisoning the plantation owner's family. Chloe is often seen wearing a green turban and has been known to appear in photographs taken by visitors. The spirits of the children she supposedly poisoned are also said to haunt the plantation, often heard playing and laughing in the halls. These haunted locations, with their tragic histories and ghostly residents, are a testament to the dark and mysterious past of New Orleans. The city's rich tapestry of supernatural tales continues to captivate and terrify, drawing in those who seek to experience the otherworldly for themselves. As we delve deeper into the haunted places within the city, we uncover more stories of restless spirits and eerie encounters, painting a vivid picture of a city where the past is never truly forgotten, and the line between the living and the dead is always blurred. New Orleans' connection to the supernatural is not limited to haunted houses and ghostly apparitions. The city is also deeply entwined with the mystical practices of voodoo, a religion brought to Louisiana by enslaved Africans in the 18th century. Voodoo in New Orleans is a unique blend of West African religious traditions, Catholicism, and French spiritualism, creating a rich tapestry of beliefs and rituals that continue to influence the city's culture and paranormal activity. At the heart of New Orleans, voodoo is Marie Laveau, the most famous voodoo priestess in the city's history. Born in 1801, Marie Laveau became a powerful figure in the local community, known for her healing abilities, spiritual guidance, and magical prowess. Her influence extended beyond the voodoo community, earning her the respect of people from all walks of life. Even after her death in 1881, Marie Laveau's legacy endures, with many believing that her spirit still watches over New Orleans. Visitors to New Orleans can explore the mysteries of voodoo at places like the New Orleans Historic Voodoo Museum, located in the French Quarter. The museum offers a glimpse into the world of voodoo, showcasing artifacts, altars, and information about the religion's history and practices. Many who visit the museum report feeling a strong spiritual presence, as if the spirits themselves are guiding them through the exhibits. One of the most iconic voodoo landmarks in New Orleans is the tomb of Marie Laveau, located in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. The cemetery itself is a place of eerie beauty, with its crumbling above-ground tombs and winding pathways. Marie Laveau's tomb is a pilgrimage site for those seeking her blessing or wishing to leave offerings. The tomb is often marked with X's, left by visitors as a sign of respect and a request for help. Many believe that Marie Laveau's spirit still lingers at her tomb, and some have reported seeing her ghostly figure walking among the graves, dressed in her signature turban and white dress. Another important aspect of New Orleans voodoo is the use of gris-gris, small bags filled with herbs, stones, bones, and other items believed to hold magical properties. These bags are used for various purposes such as protection, love, and luck. Practitioners create personalized gris-gris for their clients, imbuing them with specific intentions and prayers. Some visitors to New Orleans seek out voodoo practitioners to obtain a gris-gris, hoping to harness its power for their own needs. The influence of voodoo can also be felt in the city's many voodoo shops and botanicas, where visitors can purchase candles, oils, and other items used in rituals and spells. These shops often have a mystical atmosphere, with shelves lined with colorful bottles and shelves filled with curiosities. Many of the shop owners are knowledgeable about voodoo and are happy to share their insights and guidance with those who seek it. One of the most intriguing voodoo rituals practiced in New Orleans is the Voodoo Queen's Blessing, held annually on June 23rd at Bayou St. John. This ritual, which dates back to the 19th century, is a celebration of St. John the Baptist's feast day and involves drumming, dancing, and offerings to the spirits. Participants wear white clothing and adorn themselves with beads and other decorations as they gather by the bayou to honor the spirits and seek their blessings. The ritual is a powerful testament to the enduring presence of voodoo in New Orleans and its ability to bring people together in a shared spiritual experience. New Orleans is also home to many spiritualists and psychics who offer their services to those seeking insight into their lives and futures. Tarot card readings, palmistry, and seances are popular activities for visitors and locals alike, adding to the city's mystical allure. Jackson Square, in particular, is a hotspot for fortune tellers and psychics who set up their tables and offer readings to passers-by. The square's vibrant atmosphere, with its street performers and artists, provides a perfect backdrop for these mystical encounters. The city's connection to the supernatural is further exemplified by the numerous ghost tours and voodoo tours available to visitors. These tours offer a fascinating look into the haunted history and mystical practices of New Orleans, with knowledgeable guides sharing stories of ghosts, voodoo queens, and otherworldly phenomena. Whether it's a nighttime ghost tour through the darkened streets of the French Quarter or a daytime exploration of voodoo landmarks, these tours provide a unique and immersive experience for those looking to delve deeper into the city's supernatural side. The influence of voodoo and mystical practices on New Orleans is undeniable, shaping the city's identity and contributing to its reputation as one of the most haunted and spiritually charged places in the world. The blend of voodoo, folklore, and paranormal activity creates a rich and complex tapestry of beliefs and experiences, drawing in those who are curious about the unknown and eager to connect with the supernatural. As we continue our exploration of New Orleans' haunted history, we uncover more layers of mystery and magic, revealing a city where the veil between the living and the dead is always thin and the spirit world is ever present. As we conclude our journey through the haunted history of New Orleans, it becomes clear that this city's unique blend of cultures, traditions, and supernatural beliefs has created an environment where the past and present coexist in a delicate dance. New Orleans' rich tapestry of stories, from its haunted houses and ghostly apparitions to its voodoo queens and spiritual rituals, continues to captivate and intrigue both locals and visitors alike. One of the most enduring aspects of New Orleans' supernatural reputation is its cemeteries. These cities of the dead are not only resting places for the departed, but also serve as a testament to the city's history and cultural heritage. The above-ground tombs, necessitated by the city's low-lying geography, create an eerie and otherworldly landscape that has become synonymous with New Orleans. As you walk through these cemeteries, such as St. Louis Cemetery and Lafayette Cemetery, you can feel the weight of history and the lingering presence of those who have gone before. The allure of New Orleans' haunted places and mystical practices has also made it a popular setting for literature, film, and television. The city's atmospheric streets and enigmatic past provide the perfect backdrop for tales of horror, mystery, and the supernatural. From Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles, which brought to life the vampires of the Garden District, to the eerie adventures of American Horror Story, Coven, New Orleans' ghostly charm continues to inspire and enthrall creators and audiences around the world. The haunted legacy of New Orleans is not just confined to its famous landmarks and historical figures. Many locals and visitors have their own personal stories of encounters with the supernatural. These tales of unexplained phenomena and ghostly encounters add to the city's mystique, as each new story becomes a part of the larger narrative of New Orleans' haunted history. Whether it's a chilling experience in a haunted hotel, a mysterious sighting in the French Quarter, or an inexplicable feeling of being watched in one of the city's many historic homes, These personal accounts keep the spirit of New Orleans' supernatural alive. Despite the passage of time, the spirits of New Orleans show no signs of fading away. The city's dedication to preserving its haunted heritage through the ghost tours, voodoo rituals, and historical sites ensures that the stories of the past continue to be told and retold. These efforts not only honor the memories of those who have come before, but also keep the city's supernatural legacy alive for future generations. The residents of New Orleans embrace their city's haunted reputations with a sense of pride and reverence. For many, the supernatural is not something to be feared, but rather a vital part of their cultural identity. The spirits of New Orleans are seen as guardians of the city's history and keepers of its secrets, watching over the living and reminding them of the enduring connection between the past and the present. In the end, New Orleans remains a city where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, and the presence of the supernatural is felt in every corner. Its haunted legacy is woven into the very fabric of the city, creating an atmosphere of mystery and intrigue that draws people from all over the world. As the sun sets and the shadows lengthen, the spirits of New Orleans come alive, whispering their stories to those who are willing to listen. For those who seek to experience the supernatural, New Orleans offers an invitation to explore its haunted streets, delve into its mystical practices, and connect with the spirits that call this city home. Whether you believe in ghosts or are simply curious about the unknown, the haunted history of New Orleans promises an unforgettable journey into the heart of one of the most enigmatic and fascinating cities in the world. As our exploration comes to an end, we leave with a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped New Orleans and the spirits that continue to watch over it. The city's haunted legacy is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling, the resilience of its people, and the timeless allure of the unknown. New Orleans remains a place where history and mystery intertwine, and where the spirit world is never far from reach.
In the early 19th century, in the quiet town of Adams, Tennessee, the Bell family lived on a farm nestled in the rolling hills. John Bell, a respected farmer, lived with his wife Lucy and their children. Their tranquil life would soon be shattered by a malevolent force that would come to be known as the Bell Witch. It began innocently enough, with strange sounds echoing through the Bell household. At first, they were dismissed as creaks of an old house settling or the wind rattling through the trees. But as the nights passed, the sounds grew louder and more ominous. Doors slammed shut on their own, furniture was overturned in the dead of night, and footsteps echoed through the empty hallways. The family awoke to find their belongings scattered and their bedsheets torn to shreds. Lucy Bell, a devout woman of faith, turned to prayer to ward off the strange occurrences. But the entity seemed to mock her efforts, with disembodied voices taunting her in the dead of night. John Bell, a skeptical man by nature, was unnerved by the escalating events. He searched the house from top to bottom, looking for any logical explanation for the disturbances. Yet no matter how hard he searched, he found no evidence of human intrusion. As the weeks turned into months, the Bell family found themselves living in a state of constant fear. The entity seemed to grow bolder, its presence felt in every dark corner of the house. Neighbors whispered of witchcraft and curses, speculating on the source of the haunting. Some claimed it was the restless spirit of a neighbor with whom John had a dispute. Others believed it to be a malevolent force summoned by dark magic. But one thing was clear: the Bell family was under siege by a force beyond their understanding. And as the nights grew darker and the entity's attacks more violent, they realized that they were dealing with something truly sinister. Little did they know that the Bell Witch's reign of terror had only just begun, and the darkest days of their lives lay ahead. As the haunting of the Bell family intensified, the entity known as the Bell Witch began to reveal its true nature with terrifying clarity. One fateful night, as the family gathered in the dimly lit parlor, they were greeted by a chilling sight. A spectral figure materialized before them, its form twisted and grotesque. It hovered in the air, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly light. The room grew cold as the entity spoke with a voice that seemed to come from the depths of the abyss. It taunted the family, speaking of unspeakable horrors and promising unending torment. John Bell, usually stoic and pragmatic, was overcome with fear. He demanded to know the entity's identity, but the Bell Witch only laughed, a bone-chilling sound that echoed through the house. From that moment on, the Bell Witch's attacks grew more violent and relentless. It seemed to take pleasure in tormenting the family, targeting John in particular with its wrath. He would wake in the dead of night, paralyzed with fear, as invisible hands clawed at his bed covers. His body was bruised and battered, as if by unseen forces. Lucy Bell, her once steadfast faith shaken to its core, could only watch helplessly as her family was torn apart by the malevolent entity. She prayed fervently for salvation, but her prayers seemed to fall on deaf ears. Neighbors and visitors to the Bell household witnessed the horrors firsthand. They heard the unearthly screams that echoed through the night, the sound of chains dragging across the floor, and the guttural growls of an unseen presence. Word of the Bell Witch's reign of terror spread like wildfire through the small town of Adams. People spoke in hushed tones of the haunted Bell farm, warning others to steer clear of the malevolent force that lurked within. Despite the family's pleas for help, there seemed to be no escape from the Bell Witch's grasp. It followed them wherever they went, its presence a constant suffocating weight on their souls. And as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the Bell family found themselves on the brink of despair. They knew that they were facing a force beyond their comprehension, a force that seemed determined to drive them to madness. But little did they know that the darkest chapter of their ordeal was yet to come, as the Bell Witch's wrath reached its terrifying crescendo. As the Bell family continued to endure the relentless torment of the Bell Witch, they soon discovered that its wrath extended beyond physical attacks. The entity reveled in psychological warfare, playing malevolent tricks on their minds. Objects would vanish without a trace, only to reappear in the most unlikely of places. The family's livestock were found mutilated, their bodies bearing strange markings. Footsteps echoed through the empty rooms at all hours of the day and night, yet no living soul could be found. Doors would slam shut of their own accord, trapping the family in their own home. But it was the voices that haunted them the most. Whispered threats and chilling laughter filled the air, their source impossible to pinpoint. The Bell family lived in a constant state of fear, never knowing when the next attack would come. John Bell, once a pillar of strength, began to wither under the Bell Witch's relentless assault. He grew gaunt and haggard, his once lively eyes now hollow and haunted. Lucy Bell, her faith shattered by the unending horrors, prayed for salvation with every fiber of her being. But the entity seemed to revel in her despair, mocking her pleas with cruel laughter. Their children, once full of life and laughter, now cowered in fear at the slightest sound. Their once happy home had become a prison of terror, the walls closing in around them. Neighbors and visitors, drawn by morbid curiosity, witnessed the Bell Witch's malevolent tricks firsthand. They saw the family's anguish etched on their faces, the toll of the entity's relentless torment. Rumors swirled through the town of Adams, tales of the Bell family's suffering spreading like wildfire. Some spoke of curses and hexes, others of demonic possession. But one thing was clear: the Bell Witch's reign of terror knew no bounds. It seemed to feed on the fear and despair of its victims, growing stronger with each passing day. And as the Bell family struggled to survive under the weight of the entity's malevolence, they knew that their only hope lay in confronting the darkness that had consumed their lives. But little did they know that the Bell Witch had one final devastating trick up its spectral sleeve. A trick that would plunge them into a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. As the Bell family's torment at the hands of the Bell Witch reached its peak, they knew that they could no longer endure the malevolent entity's relentless attacks. They resolved to confront the darkness that had consumed their lives, to bring an end to the haunting once and for all. Gathering their courage, John Bell and his sons ventured into the heart of the haunted farmstead, armed with crosses and holy relics. They called out to the entity, demanding that it reveal itself and face their wrath. The air grew thick with tension as they waited in the dimly lit parlor, the eerie silence broken only by the creaking of the old floorboards. And then, with a bone-chilling wail, the Bell Witch manifested before them. Its form twisted and contorted, a grotesque amalgamation of shadows and malice. Its eyes blazed with a malevolent light, fixing the family with a gaze that seemed to pierce their very souls. Undeterred, John and his sons brandished their crosses, their voices ringing out in defiant prayers. They called upon the powers of heaven to banish the evil that had plagued their home. But the Bell Witch only laughed, a chilling, mocking sound that reverberated through the room. It taunted the family, speaking in voices that seemed to come from all directions at once. "You cannot banish me," it hissed, its voice dripping with malice. "I am eternal, a force of darkness that knows no bounds." But the Bell family stood firm, their faith unwavering in the face of unspeakable evil. With a final desperate prayer, they unleashed a torrent of holy energy at the entity, bathing it in a blinding light. For a moment, the room was consumed in brilliance, the air crackling with raw power. And then, with a deafening roar, the Bell Witch was banished back to the depths of the darkness from whence it came. The family collapsed to the floor, exhausted and shaken but victorious. The haunting had come to an end, and the Bell farmstead was finally free from the malevolent presence that had plagued it for so long. Neighbors and townsfolk marveled at the family's bravery, their story becoming legend in the small town of Adams. The Bell Witch was spoken of in hushed tones, a cautionary tale of the dangers of meddling with forces beyond comprehension. But for the Bell family, the scars of the haunting would never fully heal. They had faced unspeakable horrors and emerged victorious, but the memory of the Bell Witch's malevolence would haunt them for the rest of their days. As they stood together in the dimly lit parlor, the faint echoes of the entity's laughter still lingering in the air, they knew that they had been forever changed by the ordeal. But they also knew that they had confronted the darkness and emerged stronger for it. And as they gazed out into the moonlit night, they felt a sense of peace settle over them, knowing that they had banished the Bell Witch from their lives forever.
The Driskill Hotel stands as one of Austin, Texas's most iconic landmarks. Built in 1886, this majestic Romanesque building has been a symbol of luxury and grandeur for over a century. With its grand architecture and rich history, the Driskill has long been a favorite destination for travelers from all over the world. The hotel's stunning brick facade and elegant interiors have hosted countless guests, from European tourists to wedding parties. But there's more to the Driskill Hotel than meets the eye. Beneath its elegant exterior lies a dark and eerie history that has earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the United States. The hotel was founded by Jesse Driskill, a wealthy cattle baron who made his fortune during the Civil War by supplying beef to the Confederate Army. Though his success was undeniable, the wealth that built the Driskill was often called blood money, tainted by the suffering of war. As fate would have it, Jesse Driskill's luck didn't last long. Shortly after the hotel opened, he lost it in a high-stakes poker game, a loss that broke his spirit. It's said that his sorrow was so great that his presence still lingers in the hotel, unable to let go of the luxurious property he once called his own. His portrait, which still hangs in the lobby, serves as a haunting reminder of the man who built the Driskill with such grand ambitions. Over the years, guests and staff have reported strange occurrences throughout the hotel. Eerie sounds echo through its ornate corridors, and many claim to have seen ghostly apparitions, including the ghost of Jesse Driskill himself. The hotel's haunted reputation has only grown with time, making it a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and curious visitors alike. In the following parts, we'll delve deeper into the haunted history of the Driskill Hotel, exploring the stories of the spirits that are said to roam its halls, and the chilling encounters that have left guests with more than just memories of a luxurious stay. The Driskill Hotel's reputation as a haunted location has only intensified over the years. From its very beginning, the hotel seemed destined to be more than just a place of luxury. It would become a magnet for the supernatural. The tragic and turbulent history of its founder, Jesse Driskill, set the stage for the eerie events that would come to define the hotel. Jesse Driskill's story is one of ambition, success, and ultimate heartbreak. After amassing his fortune during the Civil War, Driskill decided to build Austin's most opulent hotel, sparing no expense to create a place that would stand as a testament to his wealth and vision. But his dreams were quickly dashed when he lost the hotel in a poker game shortly after its grand opening. The loss devastated him, and many believe that his spirit remains tied to the hotel, unable to move on from the heartbreak of losing his prized creation. This sense of lingering sorrow is said to be a major reason why the Driskill has become so notoriously haunted. Over the years, countless guests have reported feeling an unsettling presence in the hotel, as if the walls themselves are imbued with the pain and loss of its founder. The hotel's ornate corridors and luxurious rooms, which were once symbols of wealth and power, now seem to echo with the tormented cries of the past. The Driskill's haunted history is not limited to Jesse Driskill alone. As the years passed, other tragic events added to the hotel's eerie atmosphere. One of the most famous stories involves a young girl who died after falling down the grand staircase. This tragic accident is believed to be the source of one of the hotel's most active spirits. Guests and staff have reported hearing the faint sound of a ball bouncing down the stairs, accompanied by the giggles of a child, a chilling reminder of the life that was lost. Another tale that adds to the Driskills' haunted reputation is that of a bride who tragically took her own life in room 329 after her fiancé called off their wedding. The heartbroken woman's ghost is said to haunt the room to this day, with guests reporting strange occurrences such as cold spots, unexplained noises, and the eerie feeling of being watched. These stories, along with many others, have cemented the Driskill Hotel's status as a hub of paranormal activity. It's a place where the past and present seem to intertwine, where the echoes of history are felt not just in the architecture and decor, but in the very air itself. In the next part, we'll explore the specific locations within the hotel that are said to be the most haunted and the ghosts that are rumored to reside there. The Driskill Hotel is not just a place where history was made. It's a place where history seems to linger, especially in its most haunted corners. The hotel is filled with stories of ghostly encounters that have left visitors with chills. Let's explore some of the specific places within the hotel where these spirits are said to roam. One of the most infamous rooms in the Driskill is room 329. It's here that the spirit of a distraught bride is said to reside. In the early 1990s, a woman checked into this room after her fiancé called off their wedding. Devastated, she went on a shopping spree, spending thousands of dollars on luxury items, which she carefully arranged in her room. On the third day, she took her own life, leaving behind a tragic legacy. Guests staying in room 329 have reported seeing her ghost, often dressed in her wedding gown, wandering the halls with shopping bags in hand, or standing by the window, staring out into the night. Another eerie location is the grand staircase, where the ghost of a young girl has been seen and heard. This girl, the daughter of a senator, tragically fell to her death while playing with a ball. Guests have reported hearing the sound of a ball bouncing down the stairs, followed by the faint laughter of a child. Some have even seen her ghost, a small figure, dressed in white, at the top of the stairs or near the painting on the 5th floor, which many believe depicts her. The 5th floor also holds another ghostly presence, Peter Lawless, a former railroad ticket agent who lived in the hotel for over 30 years. After his death, his spirit is said to have remained in the hotel. Guests and staff have reported seeing a well-dressed man with dark hair and a pocket watch, often stepping out of the elevator or simply appearing in their rooms, only to vanish moments later. These are just a few of the spirits that are said to haunt the Driskill Hotel, each one adding another layer of mystery and fear to its already eerie atmosphere. The hotel's ghostly inhabitants seem to be tied to the places where their lives took a tragic turn, forever bound to the halls of the Driskill. The Driskill Hotel's haunted reputation doesn't stop at just a few rooms and staircases. Throughout the building, there are more spots where the paranormal seems to thrive, with spirits that have become as much a part of the hotel's character as its historic charm. One of the most famous hauntings involves the spirit of Colonel Jesse Driskill himself, the hotel's founder, who lost the property in a poker game shortly after it opened, is said to still roam the halls of the Grand Hotel he built. His ghost has been spotted in various parts of the hotel, but most commonly in his favorite room, the one that overlooks 6th Street and Brazos. Guests have reported waking up in the middle of the night to the smell of cigar smoke, only to see a man standing by the window, looking out at the city. When they turn on the light, the figure vanishes, leaving only the faint scent of cigars in the air. Some say that Driskill is unable to leave the place he was so passionate about, forever tied to the hotel that bears his name. Another haunting involves a painting on the 5th floor, known as the Love Letter. The painting depicts a young girl holding a bouquet of flowers and a letter. It's believed to be haunted by the spirit of Samantha Houston, the senator's daughter who died in the hotel. People walking by the painting have reported feeling an eerie presence, as if they're being watched. Some even claim that the eyes of the girl in the painting seem to follow them as they move. Others have felt a cold breeze or a sudden sense of dread when passing by, only to find nothing unusual when they look around. The ballroom is another area where ghostly activity has been reported. This grand space, where many elegant events have taken place, is said to be haunted by the spirits of former guests who refuse to leave. One of the most notable apparitions is that of a woman in a Victorian-era dress who has been seen dancing alone in the ballroom late at night. Some have also reported hearing the sound of music and laughter, as if a party is still going on, even when the room is empty. The spirit of Lyndon B. Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, and his wife, Lady Bird Johnson, are also said to linger in the hotel. The couple had their first date in the Driskill's dining room and spent many special occasions there. Guests have reported seeing their reflections in mirrors or catching glimpses of them out of the corner of their eyes. These sightings often occur in the ballroom or near the dining room where they once dined. These stories add to the mystique of the Driskill Hotel, making it a place where the past is never truly gone. The spirits that haunt its halls are a reminder of the hotel's rich, and sometimes tragic, history, keeping the legend of the Driskill alive for those who dare to visit. The Driskill Hotel stands as a grand monument to Austin's history, but it's the stories of the spirits that refuse to leave that give it its enduring legacy. Over the years, these ghostly tales have woven themselves into the fabric of the hotel, attracting those who are curious, brave, or simply in search of a unique experience. Visitors come from around the world, not just for the luxury and charm of the Driskill, but also to catch a glimpse of the supernatural. The hotel's reputation as one of the most haunted places in the United States only grows stronger with each new account of an unexplained encounter. Whether it's the sight of a lone figure in a mirror, the sound of a child's laughter in an empty hallway, or the scent of a long extinguished cigar, the ghosts of the Driskill continue to make their presence known. But what draws these spirits to remain in the hotel? Some say it's the emotional ties they had to the place in life, like Colonel Jesse Driskill, who poured his heart and fortune into the hotel, or Samantha Houston, the young girl whose life was tragically cut short within its walls. Others believe that the Driskills' turbulent history, steeped in both wealth and loss, has left an indelible mark on the building, one that the spirits cannot escape. Despite its haunted history, the Driskill remains a beloved part of Austin. It's a place where the past and present coexist, where the elegance of a bygone era meets the modern world, and where the spirits of the past continue to whisper their stories. For those who visit, the Driskill offers not just a stay in a historic hotel, but a chance to experience something otherworldly, to connect with the echoes of those who walked its halls long before. As the years go by, the Driskill's ghostly tales will likely continue to captivate and intrigue. The stories may evolve, and new encounters may be added to the hotel's lore, but one thing is certain. The Driskill Hotel will always be a place where history is alive, both in the memories of the living and the presence of the dead. Whether you come for the history, the luxury, or the ghosts, the Driskill promises an experience that you won't soon forget. A true Austin landmark where the past is never far away. The Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio, is a place where history and hauntings collide. Built in 1886, this massive stone structure was designed to reform and rehabilitate young offenders. Instead, it became a place of torment and suffering. The reformatory housed thousands of inmates over its 94 years of operation, many of whom endured harsh conditions and brutal punishments. The prison was eventually closed in 1990, but the spirits of its past residents seemed to linger, haunting the dark, empty cells and echoing down the long, deserted corridors. Visitors to the Ohio State Reformatory often speak of an unsettling atmosphere. The high, Gothic-style walls seem to press in on you, and the dim light creates shadows that play tricks on your mind. The building feels alive with the energy of those who suffered within its confines. It's no wonder that the reformatory has earned a reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. Stories of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena abound, drawing paranormal investigators and thrill seekers from all over the world. As you walk through the prison, it's hard to shake the feeling that you're being watched. Cold spots, sudden drops in temperature, and eerie sounds are common experiences. The air feels heavy with the weight of history and sorrow. People often report feeling uneasy, as if they are not alone even when they can't see anyone else. This sense of unease is heightened in certain areas of the prison, particularly the solitary confinement cells in the basement, known as the Hole. The Hole is a place of extreme darkness, both literal and metaphorical. Inmates who were sent there were subjected to complete isolation, sometimes for weeks on end. They were given only a small portion of bread and water every few days, and many of them went mad from the deprivation. Today, visitors to the Hole often report feeling dizzy or nauseous, and some have even claimed to see glowing eyes staring at them from the shadows. It's a place that seems to hold on to the pain and suffering of the past, refusing to let it go. The Ohio State Reformatory is a place where the past and present coexist in a chilling way. The stories of ghostly encounters and unexplained events are numerous, and they all point to the same conclusion. The reformatory is haunted. As we delve deeper into its haunted history and the real ghost stories that have been reported, we'll uncover the dark secrets that still linger within its walls. Prepare yourself for a journey into the heart of one of America's most haunted locations. The history of the Ohio State Reformatory is as dark as it is long. When it first opened its doors in 1896, the prison was intended to be a place of reform, a place where young men could be rehabilitated and returned to society as productive members. However, the reality was far different. The reformatory quickly became overcrowded, and the conditions within its walls deteriorated. What was supposed to be a place of hope turned into a living nightmare for many of its inmates. Solitary confinement was one of the harshest punishments imposed on the prisoners. The Hole, located in the basement, was a series of tiny, pitch-black cells where inmates were sent for breaking the rules. The isolation was absolute. Prisoners were given minimal food and water, and many emerged from the Hole broken in mind and spirit. Some never emerged at all. their spirits said to still linger in the darkness. Over the years, many inmates reported terrifying experiences at night. They would wake up to the sensation of invisible hands tugging at their bed sheets, as if a ghost was trying to tuck them in. This phenomenon was reported by inmates throughout the prison, adding to the fear and paranoia that already gripped the facility. Imagine the toughest, most hardened criminals reduced to trembling, scared men, afraid of what might come for them in the night. The prison also saw its fair share of violence and death. Inmates often turned on each other, and several were murdered within the prison walls. Guards, too, were not immune to the dangers. At least 2 guards were killed by inmates during the reformatory's operation. Disease was rampant, and many prisoners succumbed to tuberculosis and other illnesses, their suffering adding to the oppressive atmosphere of the place. One of the most infamous events in the reformatory's history involved the murder of a prison superintendent and his family. In 1948, Superintendent Frank Hanger and his family were brutally killed by 2 escaped inmates. The tragedy shocked the community and cast a dark shadow over the reformatory. Some say that the spirits of the Hanger family still haunt the superintendent's quarters, seeking justice for their untimely deaths. The Ohio State Reformatory's history is steeped in misery and suffering. The walls seem to absorb the pain and despair of those who were incarcerated there. Visitors today can still sense the heavy weight of the past, and many believe that the spirits of former inmates and staff continue to roam the halls. The haunted history of this reformatory is a testament to the brutality and inhumanity that occurred within its walls, and it serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of human nature. As we explore the real ghost stories and encounters in the next part, you'll see just how deeply the past still affects the present at this eerie location. The haunted history of the Ohio State Reformatory is more than just old tales. It's also about the real experiences that visitors and staff have had over the years. These encounters add a chilling layer to the already dark past of the prison. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves the sensation of invisible hands. Many former inmates, guards, and even current visitors have felt the unnerving touch of unseen fingers brushing against them or pulling at their clothes. Some inmates would wake up in the middle of the night, feeling their bed sheets being tugged and tucked by an invisible force. Imagine the terror of waking up in a dark, cold cell, only to feel a ghostly presence messing with your bed linens. These accounts were so widespread that they became part of the prison's lore. One chilling account comes from a visitor who experienced something extraordinary in a cell marked with an X. This visitor, along with a group of 8 others and a tour guide, was exploring the cell block. Suddenly, they heard footsteps echoing through the hallway. The guide, initially thinking it was another guest breaking the rules, shouted for the running to stop. But when she checked, everyone was accounted for, and a distant cell door slammed shut on its own. The guide, visibly shaken and drenched in sweat, couldn't hide her fear as they continued the tour. Another harrowing tale involves a visitor who was part of a group descending the metal stairs from one of the prison towers. As they were walking down, someone slapped the back of the visitor, causing them to stumble and nearly fall over the railing. They quickly turned around, expecting to confront their attacker, but no one was there. The shock and fear of being touched by something unseen left a lasting impression. There are also stories of inexplicable noises captured on recording devices. On one visit, a guest brought a camera and a recorder into the prison. While exploring one of the cells, they picked up a series of tapping sounds on the walls. At first, they thought it might be Morse code, but after further investigation, they concluded it was a different code, possibly developed by inmates to communicate secretly. The eerie tapping was only recorded in that specific cell, adding to the mystery. The basement cells, known as the Hole, are infamous for the intense feelings of dread and unease they inspire. Visitors often report feeling nauseous or dizzy when they enter these dark, claustrophobic spaces. Some have even claimed to see glowing eyes staring back at them from the pitch black of an empty cell. One former employee who worked in the hole recounted hearing shuffling sounds in the hallway when no one else was around. She and a colleague tried to scare what they thought were unsuspecting visitors, only to find the hallway completely empty when they jumped out. These real ghost encounters at the Ohio State Reformatory are a testament to the lingering presence of the past. The spirits of former inmates and staff seem unable to leave, their restless souls trapped in a place of pain and suffering. As we delve deeper into more ghost stories and sightings in the next part, you'll understand why the Reformatory remains one of the most haunted places in America. The Ohio State Reformatory has a plethora of chilling ghost stories that continue to unsettle even the bravest visitors. These stories are not just folklore, but are based on numerous first-hand accounts from those who have ventured into the prison's haunted depths. One of the most notorious areas in the Reformatory is the West Cell Block. Visitors frequently report seeing shadowy figures darting between the cells. These dark silhouettes are often seen out of the corner of the eye, vanishing when directly looked at. Some have felt an overwhelming sense of dread and the feeling of being watched. One visitor described seeing a shadowy figure standing at the end of the cell block, only for it to disappear as they approached. The chilling experience left them with a lasting fear of the dark corners of the prison. Another famous ghost story involves the prison chapel. Many believe that this sacred space is anything but peaceful. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported hearing disembodied voices and footsteps echoing in the empty chapel. Some have seen apparitions of former inmates, seemingly in prayer, only to vanish when approached. The atmosphere in the chapel is thick with a sense of sorrow and unrest, as if the spirits are seeking solace that they never found in life. The prison's infirmary is another hotbed of paranormal activity. The infirmary, where countless inmates suffered and died, is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who met their end there. Visitors have reported hearing moans and cries, as well as the sound of medical equipment being moved. One particularly eerie account comes from a visitor who felt a cold hand grab their arm as they walked through the infirmary. They turned to see who it was, but no one was there. The experience left them shaken and convinced that the spirits of the infirmary are still very much present. Cell Block 14 is another area with a dark history. It was here that many inmates were subjected to brutal punishments and isolation. Visitors to this cell block often report feeling intense cold spots and hearing whispers that seem to come from nowhere. Some have seen the apparition of a man in prison garb wandering the cell block, only to disappear through the walls. One group of paranormal investigators captured an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, of a voice saying, "Help me," during a session in cell block 14, adding to the eerie atmosphere. The prison's administration area is also known for its ghostly activity. One of the most frequently encountered spirits here is that of Helen Glatke, the wife of the former superintendent. Helen tragically died in 1950 when a gun accidentally discharged in their quarters. Many believe that her spirit still lingers in the administration area. Visitors have reported seeing a woman in an old-fashioned dress wandering the halls, and some have even heard her disembodied voice calling out. One night, watchmen reported hearing the sound of a woman crying and followed it to the room where Helen died, only to find the room empty. The ghost stories of the Ohio State Reformatory are numerous and varied, each adding to the haunted reputation of this historic prison. From shadowy figures and disembodied voices to cold spots and eerie apparitions, the Reformatory's ghosts continue to make their presence known. These chilling encounters remind us that the past is never truly gone, and the spirits of those who suffered within these walls may never find peace. As we conclude our journey through the haunted halls of the Ohio State Reformatory, the lingering question remains: Will these restless spirits ever find the solace they seek? The Ohio State Reformatory stands as a chilling monument to the darker side of human history. Its towering walls and decaying cells hold countless stories of suffering, despair, and death. Over the years, this haunting atmosphere has given rise to numerous ghost stories, each one adding to the reformatory's eerie reputation. As we delve into the final chapter of this haunted history, it's clear that the spirits of the Ohio State Reformatory are more than just tales to scare the curious. The prison's haunted reputation is built on a foundation of real experiences and encounters. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike have captured evidence that suggests the restless spirits of former inmates and staff continue to roam the corridors. From shadowy figures in the cell blocks to eerie whispers in the chapel, these ghostly encounters serve as a chilling reminder of the prison's dark past. Yet, despite the fear and unease these spirits inspire, there's also a sense of tragic history that permeates the reformatory. Each ghost story is a piece of a larger puzzle, a glimpse into the lives of those who once called this place home. These spirits are not just figments of imagination, but echoes of real people who lived and died within these walls. Their stories of pain and torment are woven into the fabric of the reformatory, making it a place where the past and present are inextricably linked. For those brave enough to visit, the Ohio State Reformatory offers a unique glimpse into this haunted history. Walking through its darkened halls, one can almost feel the presence of the spirits that linger. Whether it's the sound of footsteps echoing in an empty corridor, the cold touch of an unseen hand, or the sight of a shadowy figure in the distance, these encounters leave an indelible mark on those who experience them. In the end, the Ohio State Reformatory is more than just a haunted location. It's a testament to the enduring power of history and memory. The spirits that dwell here are a reminder of the human capacity for both cruelty and resilience. They serve as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of places, the echoes of the past can never be truly silenced. As we leave the reformatory behind, its haunted halls remain a testament to the lives that were forever changed within its walls. The ghost stories and eerie encounters are a poignant reminder of the suffering and despair that once filled this place. And while the spirits of the Ohio State Reformatory may never find peace, their stories continue to captivate and haunt those who dare to listen. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, nestled in Bremen Township, Cook County, Illinois, is one of the most eerie and enigmatic locations in the Chicago area. Located about 24 miles south of downtown Chicago, the cemetery is hidden away down a trail off the Midlothian Turnpike, within the Rubio Woods Forest Preserve. This small graveyard, which is the oldest in Cook County, first saw a burial around 1834. Over the years, it has become infamous for its ghostly legends and eerie occurrences. The cemetery's name is a nod to both a prominent early family and a group of single men who lived in the area, leading to several variations of the name, including Bachelor Grove, and Batchelder's Grove. Despite the cemetery's historical significance, it has fallen into a state of disrepair. Of the original 80 graves, many headstones have been lost or damaged due to vandalism. Sections of chain-link fence still stand, barely enclosing the overgrown grounds, and a murky quarry pond sits to the northwest. The cemetery's unsettling atmosphere is further compounded by numerous ghost sightings and paranormal activities. Among the most famous tales is that of the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, also known as the Woman in White. First appearing in a photograph taken by paranormal investigators in 1979, this ghostly figure is often described as a woman in a white dress, sometimes holding a baby, and is said to be searching for something or someone. Another chilling legend associated with Bachelor's Grove is the disappearing house, known also as the Phantom Farmhouse or Magic House. This spectral structure appears as a white Victorian house with a porch swing and picket fence. Witnesses have reported seeing the house flicker with a yellow-orange light before it vanishes as they approach. The house's sudden appearances and disappearances add to the cemetery's haunted reputation. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery has been the focus of paranormal investigations and ghost stories for decades. The eerie ambiance, combined with the tales of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena, make it a hotspot for those intrigued by the supernatural. The cemetery's ghostly lore, from the Madonna to the disappearing house, continues to captivate and terrify visitors and investigators alike. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery's reputation as one of the most haunted locations in Illinois began to solidify in the 1960s. The cemetery, once a quiet resting place, faced a surge in vandalism that drastically altered its state. During this period, many of the original tombstones were defaced or toppled, and some coffins were even disturbed. This rampant destruction is believed to have stirred up the spirits of those buried here, leading to an increase in ghostly sightings and paranormal occurrences. The notoriety of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery grew as reports of ghostly encounters spread. Visitors began recounting eerie experiences and strange sightings. The cemetery's remote location, surrounded by dense woods and a murky pond, added to its spooky allure. As the tales of hauntings spread, the site became a popular destination for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. One of the most notable aspects of the cemetery's haunted history is the legend of the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove. This spectral figure, also known as the Woman in White, has been a focal point of many paranormal investigations. The earliest recorded sighting of the Madonna occurred in 1979, when paranormal investigators captured her image in a photograph. The figure, described as a woman in a white dress, sometimes carrying a baby, was seen sitting on a headstone in an infrared photo taken in 1991. This image, taken by the Oaklawn Ghost Research Society, became one of the most famous ghost photos ever captured, further cementing the cemetery's haunted reputation. Another significant legend is the disappearing house. Known as the Phantom Farmhouse or Magic House, this ghostly structure is often reported as a white Victorian house with a porch swing and picket fence. Witnesses describe seeing the house illuminated with a yellow-orange light before it fades away, leaving no trace of its existence. Despite various records showing houses in the vicinity in the past, none match the exact description of the disappearing house, adding to its mystery. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery's haunted reputation has been reinforced by these and other ghostly legends. The ongoing reports of paranormal activity, combined with the cemetery's troubled history of vandalism, contribute to its eerie allure. The tales of the Madonna and the disappearing house continue to attract those fascinated by the supernatural, ensuring that Bachelor's Grove remains one of the most intriguing and haunted locations in the region. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is renowned for its eerie atmosphere and the many ghostly figures that have been reported over the years. Among the most famous apparitions is the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, often seen as a woman in a flowing white dress. Some accounts describe her carrying a baby, while others depict her wandering alone. This spectral figure is believed to be searching for something or someone, although the specifics of her quest remain a mystery. One of her most notable appearances was captured in a 1991 infrared photograph, where she is seen sitting on a headstone. This image, taken by the Oaklawn Ghost Research Society, remains one of the most compelling pieces of evidence of her presence. Adding to the cemetery's ghostly lore is the disappearing house, also known as the Phantom Farmhouse. Witnesses have reported seeing a white Victorian house with a porch swing and a picket fence, often illuminated by a flickering yellow-orange light. The house is described as being transparent, and as visitors approach, it is said to shrink and eventually vanish. Despite various records of houses in the area, none match the description of this elusive structure. Nearby the cemetery, a murky quarry pond is associated with its own ghostly legend. In 1870, a farmer and his horse drowned in the pond after the horse became startled and bolted. Witnesses have reported seeing the ghostly figures of both the farmer and the horse on the pond's surface and along 143rd Street. These spectral appearances contribute to the pond's haunting reputation. Another spectral presence is that of a large black and tan dog, often seen at the cemetery's entrance or running along the path. This ghostly dog is described as either sitting quietly or suddenly appearing before fading away. Its presence adds another layer to the cemetery's rich tapestry of ghostly tales. Visitors to Bachelor's Grove have also reported seeing balls of blue and red light throughout the cemetery. These orbs are said to hover and dance around, sometimes moving in an intelligent manner as if they are aware of their surroundings. These mysterious lights further enhance the cemetery's reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Each of these ghostly figures and phenomena contributes to the eerie allure of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, creating a powerful and enduring legend that continues to captivate those who venture into its haunted ground. The haunting atmosphere of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery extends beyond its most famous apparitions, with numerous other eerie occurrences and spectral figures reported over the years. One particularly chilling story involves the ghostly caretaker. According to legend, an older man carrying a lantern has been seen walking the path outside the graveyard at night. Descriptions of this spectral caretaker vary, but he is often described as an elderly man who appears suddenly and then vanishes without a trace. This figure has become a central part of local ghost lore, particularly after a memorable encounter in 1971. During that year, 2 college students exploring the cemetery at night reported seeing a shadowy figure illuminated by a dim yellow-orange light. The figure, holding a lantern, seemed to direct them down the path. When the students turned around, the figure had vanished, leaving them with a sense of unease and wonder about the caretaker's true nature. This encounter has become a notable part of Bachelor's Grove's haunted reputation. The tales of the disappearing house and the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove continue to intrigue visitors. The phantom farmhouse remains a recurring sight, with many reporting seeing it flicker in and out of view before completely vanishing. The spectral house, with its glowing windows, is often seen surrounded by a strange mist, adding to its ghostly aura. Despite various theories, the house's origins and purpose remain a mystery. The Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, meanwhile, continues to be a prominent figure in the ghost stories. She is frequently seen wandering the cemetery, sometimes alone and at other times with a baby. The clarity of her appearances and the compelling nature of the photographic evidence contribute to her enduring legend. Despite skepticism and claims of hoax, the sightings of the Madonna persist, maintaining her status as one of the cemetery's most enigmatic spirits. In addition to these, there are accounts of other mysterious phenomena, such as unexplained noises and sudden drops in temperature. Visitors have reported feeling an eerie chill or hearing distant whispers, even in the absence of wind or other natural explanations. These experiences add to the cemetery's reputation as a truly haunted location. Bachelor's Grove, cemetery's rich tapestry of ghostly tales and supernatural encounters, continues to attract ghost hunters, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious visitors. Each new sighting and experience only serves to deepen the cemetery's mystique, ensuring that its haunted legacy endures. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery stands as one of the most intriguing and haunted locations in the Chicago area, with a history steeped in mystery and eerie tales. From its early days in the 1830s to its current status as a hotspot for paranormal activity, the cemetery has captivated the imaginations of those who have ventured into its shadowed grounds. The legends of the Madonna in White, the phantom farmhouse, and the spectral caretaker are just a few of the stories that define Bachelor's Grove Cemetery's haunted reputation. Each of these tales, supported by numerous accounts and occasional photographic evidence, adds to the cemetery's mystique. The continuous sightings of ghostly figures and strange occurrences have solidified the cemetery's place in the annals of the paranormal. The cemetery's haunted history is also a reflection of its past. Vandalism and neglect have marred the graveyard over the years, which many believe has disturbed the spirits of those resting there. Despite efforts to restore and protect the site, the damage from past years continues to echo through the chilling experiences reported by visitors. The allure of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery lies in its blend of historical significance and ghostly intrigue. The cemetery not only serves as a final resting place, but also as a canvas for spectral stories that have grown over time. The apparitions and phenomena reported here contribute to a larger narrative of haunted locations around the world, where the past and present intertwine in unsettling ways. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, the tales from Bachelor's Grove Cemetery offer a glimpse into a world where history and hauntings merge. The eerie stories and supernatural sightings ensure that this small, secluded graveyard remains a significant and compelling chapter in the book of haunted places.
Originally built as a military fortress in the 19th century, it was later repurposed into a federal penitentiary, earning it the infamous nickname, The Rock. Throughout its dark history, Alcatraz gained a reputation as one of the most feared prisons in America, housing notorious criminals such as Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly. But it wasn't just the inmates who felt the weight of the prison's oppressive atmosphere. Guards and staff alike reported eerie occurrences and unexplained phenomena within its walls. From disembodied whispers echoing through the empty corridors to shadowy figures darting just out of sight, Alcatraz seemed to harbor a dark energy that defied rational explanation. Even after the prison closed its doors in 1963, reports of paranormal activity continued to abound, cementing its status as one of the most haunted locations in the world. As visitors flock to the island in search of thrills and chills, they can't help but feel a sense of unease as they wander through the crumbling ruins of the abandoned prison. And for those brave enough to delve deeper into its haunted history, the chilling tales of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena only serve to reinforce the notion that Alcatraz is indeed a place of darkness and despair. Among the most haunted areas of Alcatraz is the former residence of the prison's warden. Here, visitors have reported chilling encounters with the spirits of former inmates and guards who seem to linger in the shadows, forever trapped within the confines of the prison walls. One of the most famous ghostly residents of the warden's quarters is that of Al Capone, the notorious gangster who spent several years incarcerated in Alcatraz. Visitors claim to have seen his ghost wandering the halls, his ghostly figure clad in the pinstripe suit that was his trademark during his days as a crime boss. But Capone is not the only restless spirit said to haunt the warden's quarters. Guards who once patrolled the prison claim to have heard disembodied voices and footsteps echoing through the empty rooms, as if the spirits of the past were still going about their daily routines. Perhaps most chilling of all are the reports of a spectral figure known as the Thing. Described as a dark, shadowy presence with glowing red eyes, the Thing is said to lurk in the shadows, watching unsuspecting visitors with a malevolent gaze. Despite efforts to debunk these claims, the stories persist, passed down through generations of visitors who have experienced firsthand the eerie atmosphere of the warden's quarters. And as night falls over Alcatraz, the spirits of the past come alive once more, their restless souls haunting the prison for all eternity. Venturing deeper into the heart of Alcatraz, visitors come face to face with the grim reality of life behind bars in the infamous cell blocks. Here, in the dimly lit corridors and cramped cells, the echoes of suffering and despair linger like a haunting melody. One of the most notorious areas of the prison is Cell Block D, also known as the Hole. This solitary confinement unit was reserved for the prison's most troublesome inmates, who were subjected to weeks or even months of isolation in pitch-black cells with no human contact. It is here that many visitors claim to have encountered the spirits of those who suffered in the Hole. Eerie whispers and disembodied moans fill the air, and some have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair wash over them as they stand in the empty cells. But it's not just Cell Block D that harbors paranormal activity. Throughout the cell blocks, visitors have reported hearing phantom footsteps echoing through the corridors, as if the ghosts of former inmates were still pacing the halls in search of freedom. As visitors explore the cell blocks of Alcatraz, they can't help but feel a sense of unease creeping over them. For in this place of darkness and despair, the spirits of the past linger on, trapped within the prison's walls for all eternity. In the shadowy depths of Alcatraz lies the abandoned hospital wing, a place of suffering and death for countless inmates over the years. Here in the cold and sterile halls, the echoes of agony still reverberate, haunting visitors who dare to venture into its depths. The hospital wing was a place of last resort for inmates in need of medical attention, but it also served as a grim reminder of the prison's harsh reality. Many inmates succumbed to illness and injury within its walls, their final moments spent in the company of indifferent guards and overworked medical staff. Visitors to the hospital wing have reported eerie encounters with the spirits of those who died within its confines. Some claim to have heard ghostly cries and screams echoing through the empty rooms, while others have reported seeing shadowy figures darting between the beds. One of the most chilling tales to emerge from the hospital wing is that of a spectral nurse who is said to roam the halls, her ghostly figure gliding silently through the darkness. Some believe she is the spirit of a nurse who once worked in the hospital, doomed to wander the halls for all eternity. As visitors explore the abandoned hospital wing, they can't help but feel a sense of unease creeping over them. For in this place of suffering and death, the spirits of the past linger on, their restless souls trapped within the prison's walls for all eternity. Among the many ghostly tales that haunt the halls of Alcatraz, one of the most chilling is that of Robert Stroud, better known as the Birdman of Alcatraz. Stroud was a notorious inmate who gained fame for his study of birds while incarcerated at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, but he was never actually housed at Alcatraz. Despite this fact, visitors to the island have reported sightings of a ghostly figure resembling Stroud wandering the cell blocks of the prison. Some claim to have seen him sitting silently in his cell, surrounded by the chirping of imaginary birds, while others have reported hearing his voice echoing through the corridors in the dead of night. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the Birdman's ghostly presence is the feeling of unease that accompanies it. Those who have encountered him report a sense of overwhelming dread, as if his restless spirit is still tormented by the demons of his past. As visitors explore the cell blocks of Alcatraz, they can't help but wonder what became of the Birdman's soul. Did he find peace in death, or is his spirit doomed to wander the halls of the prison for all eternity, a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded within its walls? Whatever the truth may be, the ghost of the Birdman serves as a chilling reminder of the dark legacy of Alcatraz, a place where the spirits of the past linger on, trapped within the prison's walls for all eternity. As the sun sets on the desolate island of Alcatraz, the whispers of the past grow fainter, fading into the darkness like echoes of a bygone era. Visitors depart, their minds filled with chilling tales of ghostly encounters and haunted hallways, but the spirits of the prison remain, tethered to the earth by the weight of their unfinished business. For centuries, Alcatraz has stood as a symbol of fear and despair, a place where the worst of humanity clashed with the unyielding forces of justice. But even as the prison crumbles into ruin, its legacy endures, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lies within the human soul. As the last echoes of the past fade into silence, Alcatraz stands as a testament to the enduring power of the paranormal. Its halls may be empty now, but the spirits of the past linger on, their restless souls trapped within the prison's walls for all eternity. And so, as the night falls and the island sinks into darkness once more, the ghosts of Alcatraz continue to haunt its crumbling ruins, their presence a chilling reminder of the horrors that once unfolded within its walls. For those who dare to venture into its haunted depths, Alcatraz will forever remain a place of darkness and despair, where the spirits of the past refuse to be forgotten.
The Chelsea Hotel in New York City is more than just a building. It's a living piece of history, a place where creativity and tragedy have intertwined for over a century. Constructed in 1884, the Chelsea was originally intended as a cooperative apartment for artists. Its ornate Gothic architecture and bohemian atmosphere quickly attracted a variety of tenants, painters, writers, musicians, and actors, all drawn to the hotel's promise of cheap rent and an environment steeped in artistic inspiration. But the Chelsea Hotel is also notorious for the darker stories that unfolded within its walls. From the tragic deaths of famous residents to the whispered tales of hauntings, the Chelsea has a legacy that is as much about the spirits that may still linger there as it is about the creativity that once thrived. Today, as the building undergoes renovations, its legend as a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs remains as strong as ever. The Chelsea Hotel's dark history is marked by a series of tragic deaths and infamous incidents that have added to its mystique. One of the most notorious cases is the death of Nancy Spungen, the girlfriend of Sex Pistols bassist Sid Vicious. In 1978, Nancy was found stabbed to death in room 100 of the hotel, a crime that shocked the punk rock world. Sid Vicious was arrested for her murder, though he died of a drug overdose before the case could be brought to trial. This tragic event cast a long shadow over the hotel, cementing its reputation as a place of doom for some of its residents. But Nancy Spungen's death is just one chapter in the Chelsea's grim history. The poet Dylan Thomas spent his last days at the hotel, drinking himself into a fatal coma. His words, "I have had 18 straight whiskeys. I think that's the record," are often quoted as he fell seriously ill and died shortly after being admitted to the hospital. Other deaths, less famous but equally tragic, have occurred within the hotel's rooms, contributing to its eerie reputation. The hotel's walls seem to hold on to the memories of these lost souls, with many guests and residents claiming to have experienced strange phenomena, such as unexplained cold spots, disembodied voices, and fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures. The Chelsea Hotel's macabre history is steeped in legends of hauntings and paranormal activity, stories passed down by generations of residents and guests. These tales are not just idle gossip, but a persistent and unsettling part of the Chelsea experience, with many claiming that the spirits of those who met tragic ends within its walls still linger, refusing to move on. One of the most frequently reported apparitions is that of Dylan Thomas. Visitors and staff alike have claimed to see a figure matching his description wandering the halls, particularly near the room where he spent his final days. Some describe hearing the faint sound of typing on an old typewriter, only to find the room empty. Others have heard the poet's deep Welsh accented voice reciting lines of poetry in the dead of night. These encounters are often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, as if the very air grows cold in his presence. The ghost of Nancy Spungen is another specter said to haunt the Chelsea Hotel. Room 100, where she met her violent end, is considered one of the most haunted locations in the building. Guests who have stayed in the room report hearing the sounds of a woman crying, sometimes soft and sorrowful, other times anguished and loud enough to wake them from sleep. There are also reports of unexplained cold drafts, doors slamming shut on their own, and objects moving or being knocked over with no apparent cause. Some say that Nancy's spirit is trapped in a loop, endlessly reliving the last moments of her life, her cries echoing through the walls as a reminder of her untimely death. Beyond these two well-known figures, there are countless other stories of spectral encounters at the Chelsea. Some involve the spirits of lesser-known artists and musicians who lived and died there, their presence felt in the very spaces where they created their work. A number of residents have spoken of hearing ghostly music, as if a band is rehearsing in one of the rooms, only for the sound to abruptly stop when investigated. Others have seen shadowy figures in the corners of their vision, figures that disappear the moment they turn to face them. There are also reports of more aggressive hauntings, where the spirits seem less like tragic remnants of the past and more like malevolent forces. Guests have woken up to the sensation of being watched, or worse, the feeling of hands pressing down on their chest, as if an invisible presence is trying to suffocate them. Some have reported seeing ghostly faces in mirrors or windows, faces that aren't their own and vanish when they look again. These experiences leave many with a deep sense of unease, as if the hotel itself is alive, feeding off the energies of its residents and visitors. The haunting of the Chelsea Hotel is not confined to individual rooms, but permeates the entire building. The creaking of old floors, the flickering of lights, and the strange, oppressive atmosphere all contribute to the sense that the hotel is a place where the past and present collide, where the dead are never truly gone. It's a place where time seems to stand still, and those who enter are often left with the feeling that they have stepped into another world, a world where the boundaries between the living and the dead are blurred, and where the echoes of history are as real and tangible as the walls that contain them. While the ghostly figures of Dylan Thomas and Nancy Spungen are among the most famous spirits said to haunt the Chelsea Hotel, the building's dark legends and hidden secrets go far beyond these well-known tragedies. The hotel's reputation as a magnet for the strange and unexplained has only grown over the years, fueled by countless lesser-known stories of eerie encounters and inexplicable phenomena. One such tale involves the mysterious disappearance of a resident in the 1950s, a reclusive artist known only by the name of Victor. Victor was an enigmatic figure, keeping mostly to himself, rarely seen by other residents. He was known for working late into the night, often leaving his room only to gather materials for his art. One day, Victor vanished without a trace. His room was found undisturbed, his half-finished canvases still on their easels, brushes dipped in dried paint, as if he had simply stepped out for a moment. Despite a thorough search of the hotel and the surrounding area, no sign of Victor was ever found. Some believe that Victor became so consumed by his work that he lost touch with reality, crossing over into another realm, one that perhaps still exists within the Chelsea's walls. This story is often linked to a curious phenomenon reported by some guests, a sense of being watched by unseen eyes. Those who stay in the vicinity of Victor's former room have described feeling an intense, almost oppressive presence, as though someone or something is lurking just out of sight. Some have even claimed to see flashes of light or shadowy figures moving just beyond the range of their vision, always vanishing when approached. There is a persistent rumor that Victor's spirit, or whatever became of him, remains trapped within the hotel, his restless energy contributing to the building's eerie atmosphere. Another unsettling legend is that of the Red Room, a supposed hidden chamber within the Chelsea Hotel that is said to be the epicenter of its paranormal activity. According to the legend, the Red Room was once used for dark rituals or secretive meetings by a shadowy group whose identity remains unknown. Some say that these rituals involved summoning spirits or opening doorways to other dimensions, and that the room itself became a portal through which malevolent entities could enter our world. While the existence of the Red Room has never been proven, many residents and guests claim to have felt its influence, reporting strange noises, inexplicable cold spots, and feelings of dread whenever they pass certain areas of the hotel. Some have even described the sensation of being drawn towards a specific spot, as if compelled by an unseen force. The Chelsea's elevators are another source of unnerving stories. Unlike other parts of the hotel, which have been updated and renovated over the years, the elevators retain much of their original machinery, adding to their creaky, antiquated charm. But this charm is accompanied by tales of unexplained occurrences. Some guests have reported entering the elevator, only for it to stop between floors, its doors opening to reveal a dark, empty shaft instead of a hallway. Others have spoken of the elevator taking them to floors that don't exist, doors opening to reveal rooms that are not part of the official hotel layout, dimly lit and filled with strange, old-fashioned furniture. These floors often disappear as quickly as they appear, leading many to believe that the Chelsea's elevators sometimes cross into another dimension, or that they are somehow connected to the building's ghostly past. In addition to these supernatural tales, the Chelsea Hotel is also surrounded by rumors of hidden passageways and secret rooms, remnants of its long and storied history. Some speculate that these hidden spaces were used during Prohibition for clandestine gatherings or as hideaways for those seeking refuge. Others believe that they were constructed by the hotel's original architect as part of a grand but never fully realized vision for the building. These secret areas, if they exist, have become the stuff of legend, with many claiming that they house not just memories, but the spirits of those who once occupied them. These legends, while perhaps exaggerated over time, contribute to the Chelsea Hotel's mystique. They are part of the fabric of the building, woven into its walls and corridors, creating a place where reality and myth are difficult to separate. For many, the Chelsea is more than just a hotel. It is a living entity, shaped by the countless lives and deaths that have occurred within its walls, and by the secrets that may never be fully uncovered. The Chelsea Hotel, now partially renovated and under new management, continues to captivate those who pass through its doors. Though the building has undergone significant changes in recent years, with modern amenities and updated interiors, its essence remains unchanged. The ghosts of the past, both literal and metaphorical, linger in the air, reminding visitors of the hotel's storied history. The hotel's iconic facade still looms over 23rd Street, its iron balconies draped in vines, and its brick walls holding the secrets of generations. It's as if the Chelsea itself resists any attempt to fully modernize, clinging to its identity as a place where the boundaries between the real and the supernatural blur. Despite the renovations, many of the hotel's long-term residents, those who have lived there for decades, have remained, their presence adding to the building's unique character. These individuals are not just tenants. They are part of the Chelsea's living history, witnesses to the countless stories that have played out within its walls. They speak of the hotel with a mix of affection and respect, acknowledging its quirks and its occasional unsettling moments as part of its charm. For these residents, the Chelsea is more than just a place to live. It is a community, a sanctuary for those who have always felt like outsiders. The hotel's reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity also endures. Ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, and curious tourists continue to flock to the Chelsea, hoping to catch a glimpse of the unexplained. Some come armed with cameras and recording equipment, ready to document any signs of ghostly presence. Others simply walk the halls, soaking in the atmosphere and the sense of history that permeates the building. For many, the appeal of the Chelsea lies in the possibility that they might encounter something beyond the ordinary, a brush with the unknown that leaves them questioning what is real and what is imagined. The hotel's place in pop culture remains strong as well. It continues to be referenced in films, music, and literature, often portrayed as a symbol of artistic freedom, bohemian lifestyle, and haunted glamour. The stories of those who lived and died at the Chelsea have become part of its mythology, their lives intertwined with the hotel's legacy, even as the world around it changes. The Chelsea stands as a testament to a bygone era, a place where art and life, love and tragedy, the mundane and the supernatural all coexisted in a delicate balance. As the Chelsea Hotel moves forward into the future, its legacy is secure. It remains a landmark, not just of New York City, but of a certain kind of creative spirit, a spirit that embraces the unknown, that finds beauty in the unconventional, and that understands the power of stories, both seen and unseen. The hotel's walls may have been refreshed, its rooms updated, but the soul of the Chelsea is timeless. It is a place where the past is never truly gone, where the echoes of history continue to resonate, and where the line between the living and the dead is just a little bit thinner than elsewhere. In the end, the Chelsea Hotel is more than just a building. It is an experience, a legend, story still being written by everyone who enters. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that the Chelsea has a presence, a feeling that is impossible to ignore. It is a place where time seems to stand still, where the past lingers in every corner, and where the spirits of those who came before still walk the halls, their stories forever a part of the Chelsea's enduring legacy.
Nestled within the quiet streets of Villisca, Iowa, stands a foreboding structure that has become synonymous with terror and tragedy, the Villisca Axe Murder House. The history of this infamous residence is shrouded in darkness, its walls bearing witness to a night of unspeakable horror that forever stained the fabric of this once peaceful community. The year was 1912, and the town of Villisca was a quaint and close-knit community, its residents living simple lives amidst the rolling plains of rural Iowa. But on a fateful summer's night, the tranquility of Villisca was shattered by an act of unimaginable brutality. 6 innocent children and 2 adults, the Moore family and 2 young friends, were ruthlessly slaughtered within the confines of their own home. The killer, a mysterious figure shrouded in shadow, wielded an axe with deadly precision, delivering fatal blows to each victim as they slept. Their skulls were crushed, their bodies mutilated, in a frenzy of violence that defied comprehension. When dawn broke over Villisca, the town awoke to a scene of unimaginable horror. The Moore house transformed into a blood-soaked charnel house, a testament to the depths of human depravity. In the aftermath of the massacre, the tight-knit community of Villisca was plunged into mourning and disbelief. How could such a heinous crime occur in their midst, and who could be capable of such monstrous acts? Despite exhaustive investigations and numerous suspects, the perpetrator of the Villisca axe murders remained elusive, their identity lost to the annals of time. As the years passed, the Moore house stood as a grim reminder of the tragedy that had befallen the town. Though the bloodstains were scrubbed away and the wounds of the past attempted to heal, the specter of the murders lingered, casting a pall over Villisca that would never truly dissipate. Despite its dark history, or perhaps because of it, the Villisca Axe Murder House captured the imagination of thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. Its reputation as a hotbed of supernatural activity grew, fueled by tales of ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained phenomena that seemed to defy rational explanation. The Villisca Axe Murder House became more than just a crime scene. It became a macabre attraction, drawing visitors eager to explore its haunted halls and commune with the spirits of the past. For those brave enough to spend the night within its walls, the house offered a glimpse into the darkest recesses of the human psyche, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of evil. Decades passed, and the memory of the Villisca axe murders gradually faded from the collective consciousness of Villisca. Yet the Moore house remained a silent sentinel, its weathered facade bearing witness to the passage of time and the weight of history. It stood as a stark reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls, a somber testament to the lives lost on that fateful night. In 1994, however, a new chapter in the house's dark history began. The dilapidated structure was purchased by Martha Lynn, a local entrepreneur with a bold vision for its future. Determined to preserve the legacy of the Villisca axe murders and capitalize on its notoriety, Lynn embarked on an ambitious restoration project, transforming the house into a tourist destination unlike any other. Under Lynn's guidance, the Moore house was painstakingly restored to its 1912 condition, every detail meticulously recreated to evoke the atmosphere of that fateful night. From the creaking floorboards to the flickering gas lamps, no expense was spared in recreating the eerie ambiance of the past. The restored Villisca Axe Murder House soon became a magnet for thrill seekers and curiosity seekers alike, its doors thrown open to those brave enough to explore its haunted halls. Tourists flocked to Villisca from far and wide, drawn by the allure of the macabre and the promise of encountering the supernatural. For Martha Lynn, the transformation of the Moore house was more than just a business venture. It was a labor of love, a testament to her belief in the enduring power of history and the importance of preserving the past. Yet, even as the house underwent its transformation, whispers of the past lingered in the air, a reminder of the horrors that had once transpired within its walls. As the restored Villisca Axe Murder House welcomed its first visitors, the stage was set for a new chapter in its dark and troubled history. Little did anyone know, however, that true terror lurked just beyond its threshold. waiting to ensnare the unwary in its malevolent embrace. November of 2014 dawned cold and crisp in Villisca, with a biting wind that swept through the streets, carrying with it the whispers of the past. It was on one such evening that Robert Stephen Lorson Jr., a 37-year-old man from Rhinelander, Wisconsin, embarked on a fateful journey to the infamous Morehouse. Accompanied by a group of friends, Lorson set out on what was meant to be a recreational paranormal visit, eager to explore the mysteries of the Villisca axe murder house firsthand. Little did he know, however, that his journey would end in tragedy, leaving a scar on the fabric of time. As the group stepped across the threshold of the Morehouse, a palpable sense of unease settled over them, the weight of history bearing down upon their shoulders like a suffocating blanket. Shadows danced in the flickering lamplight, casting eerie shapes upon the walls, as if the very house itself were alive with malevolent intent. For hours, the group wandered through the darkened halls of the Morehouse, their hearts pounding in their chests with each creak of the floorboards and every whisper of the wind. Yet, despite their trepidation, they pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to unlock the secrets of the past. It was around midnight when tragedy struck, shattering the fragile peace of the night and plunging the group into a nightmare from which they would never awaken. In the dim glow of a flickering lantern, Lorson's companions made a grisly discovery, a sight that would haunt them for the rest of their days. There, in the depths of the Morehouse, they found Lorson lying upon the floor, his body bathed in a pool of crimson blood. A knife protruded from his chest, its gleaming blade glinting in the dim light, a silent testament to the horrors that had unfolded in the darkness. Frantic calls to emergency services echoed through the halls of the Morehouse as Lorson's companions desperately sought help, their voices trembling with fear and disbelief. Yet even as the wail of sirens pierced the night, the specter of death loomed large, casting a shadow over the house and all who dared to tread within its walls. As Lorson was rushed to the hospital, his fate hanging in the balance, the residents of Villisca could only watch in horror as the echoes of the past returned to claim yet another victim. The events of that fateful night would forever remain etched in their memories, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked within the heart of the Villisca axe murder house. In the wake of Robert Stephen Lorson Jr.'s tragic encounter at the Villisca axe murder house, the once quiet town of Villisca was thrown into a maelstrom of fear and uncertainty. Rumors swirled like spectral whispers through the streets, each whisper carrying with it the weight of untold horrors and unseen terrors. Visitors to the Morehouse spoke of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena, of shadows that moved of their own accord and whispers that echoed through the empty halls. Some claimed to have seen the ghostly figure of a man with an axe, his form flickering in and out of existence like a specter from a nightmare. Yet it was not just the apparitions that haunted the Morehouse. It was the lingering sense of dread that hung heavy in the air, a palpable presence that seemed to seep into the very walls of the old home. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind, served as a grim reminder of the violence that had stained the house's past. For Martha Lynn, the owner of the Villisca axe murder house, the events of that fateful night cast a long shadow over her once peaceful life. The house, once a labor of love and a testament to her dedication to preserving history, had become a beacon of darkness, drawing in those who sought to uncover its secrets and tempting fate with each step they took. Despite the tragedy that had befallen her home, Lynn remained steadfast in her commitment to preserving its legacy. The Villisca axe murder house remained open to visitors, its doors welcoming all who dared to brave its haunted halls in search of answers. Yet as the years passed and the memory of Lorson's tragic encounter faded into the annals of history, the Villisca axe murder house continued to stand as a stark reminder of the horrors that lurked beneath the surface of the seemingly mundane. And though the shadows may have grown long and the echoes of the past may have faded, the darkness that dwelled within the heart of the Morehouse would forever remain, a silent sentinel standing watch over the secrets buried within its walls. As time marched on, the Villisca axe murder house stood as a somber testament to the horrors of its past. Visitors came and went, their curiosity piqued by the whispers of ghostly apparitions and spectral echoes that lingered within its walls. Martha Lynn, the stalwart guardian of the house's history, remained steadfast in her commitment to preserving its legacy. Though the specter of Robert Stephen Lorson Jr.'s tragic encounter cast a long shadow over the house, Lynn refused to let fear dictate its future. With each passing day, the memory of the fateful night faded, replaced by the ebb and flow of everyday life. The Villisca Axe murder house became a symbol of resilience, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who refused to let darkness reign supreme. Yet, as the sun set on another day and the shadows grew long, there were those who still felt the lingering presence of the past. Whispers carried on the wind spoke of secrets buried deep within the house's walls, of restless spirits doomed to wander for all eternity. For Martha Lynn, the echoes of the past served as a grim reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the human spirit. Though the horrors of the Villisca Axe murder house may never be fully understood, its legacy would live on, a haunting reminder of the darkness that dwells within us all.
Route 666, now known as U.S. Route 491, stretches through the desolate landscapes of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. This highway, often referred to as the Devil's Highway, has a reputation steeped in mystery and fear. The road's original name, Route 666, drew associations with the devil due to the number's ominous connotations. This stretch of highway has been the source of countless tales of haunted happenings and eerie experiences. For decades, drivers and locals alike have shared stories of ghostly apparitions, unexplained phenomena, and strange encounters that make this highway one of the most haunted places in America. The history of Route 666 is marked by numerous fatal accidents and bizarre incidents that have fueled its haunted reputation. From the hounds of hell that supposedly shred the tires of moving vehicles to the haunted red semi-truck driven by an evil spirit. The legends surrounding this highway are as diverse as they are terrifying. Motorists have reported encounters with a mysterious girl in a white dress who vanishes when approached, as well as sightings of skinwalkers appearing as animals to cause accidents. These tales, coupled with the high number of fatalities on the road, have led many to believe that the highway is cursed. Route 666's haunted reputation is well known among those who live near and travel on this desolate stretch of road. Dubbed the Devil's Highway, the name alone conjures images of evil and fear. The high number of accidents and fatalities on the highway has only served to reinforce its sinister reputation. Many locals believe that the highway's number, 666, invites a dark presence, leading to an increase in eerie encounters and unexplained phenomena. Stories of paranormal activity and ghost sightings have become almost routine for those familiar with the road. Legends and myths about Route 666 have persisted for years, further cementing its place as a haunted location. Drivers have shared countless accounts of seeing ghostly apparitions, like the girl in the white dress who vanishes when approached. Others have reported encounters with skinwalkers, who appear as animals on the road, causing drivers to swerve and crash. The haunted red semi-truck, driven by an evil spirit, is said to appear out of nowhere, aiming to force vehicles off the road. These stories have made Route 666 infamous, a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, leaving travelers wary and filled with dread. Route 666, now known as Route 491, has no shortage of chilling tales and ghostly encounters. As one travels this desolate highway, they pass through numerous haunted spots, each with its own sinister story. One of the most frequently mentioned apparitions is the mysterious girl in a white dress. Many drivers have reported seeing her walking alone on the side of the road, only to have her disappear when they offer assistance. This ghostly figure, with her sad, unnerving expression, leaves an indelible mark on those who see her, a reminder of the sorrow and tragedy that seem to haunt the highway. Another well-known entity on Route 666 is the Phantom Semi-Truck. Described as a massive red truck with an evil presence, it appears out of nowhere, speeding down the highway with reckless abandon. Drivers have recounted how the truck seems to aim directly at them, forcing them to swerve off the road to avoid a collision. Those who manage to avoid it often find no trace of the truck afterward, leaving them to wonder if it was a hallucination or a true paranormal encounter. This haunted truck is said to be driven by an evil spirit, bent on causing harm to anyone traveling the highway at night. The tales of the hounds of hell are equally terrifying. These supernatural beasts are described as large, menacing dogs with glowing yellow eyes and razor-sharp teeth. Witnesses claim that these hounds can keep pace with speeding vehicles, no matter how fast they go. There have been numerous accounts of these dogs attacking cars, shredding tires, and even jumping into open windows to maul the occupants. These encounters often result in accidents, adding to the highway's reputation as a dangerous and cursed place. Skinwalkers, a staple of local Native American lore, are another unsettling presence on Route 666. These shape-shifting beings are said to take the form of animals, appearing suddenly on the road to cause accidents. Drivers have reported swerving to avoid what they believed was an animal, only to see a human figure in their rearview mirror. In some cases, the skinwalkers are said to appear inside the vehicle itself, creating a sense of sheer terror and helplessness. These encounters often leave drivers with a deep sense of unease, convinced they have experienced something truly otherworldly. In addition to these well-known entities, there are countless reports of strange lights and unexplained phenomena along Route 666. UFO sightings are not uncommon, with many drivers recounting how they saw mysterious lights in the sky that moved in ways no known aircraft could. These lights often hover over the highway before disappearing suddenly, leaving witnesses bewildered and frightened. The loss of time is another frequent occurrence, with drivers claiming to lose hours of their journey with no memory of what happened during that period. The haunted history of Route 666 is filled with such chilling stories, each adding to the highway's dark allure. The combination of ghostly apparitions, demonic entities, and unexplained phenomena makes it one of the most haunted highways in the United States. For those brave enough to travel its lonely stretches, the journey is often one of fear and uncertainty, never knowing what might appear out of the darkness. Continuing along Route 666, the eerie tales only grow in number and intensity. Among the most spine-chilling is the legend of the Pale Spirit. This apparition is believed to be the ghost of a young girl who stands by the roadside, often in the middle of nowhere. Dressed in a flowing white gown, she appears fragile and lost, eliciting a mix of sympathy and fear from those who encounter her. Drivers who stop to offer help often find that she vanishes as soon as they approach, leaving behind an eerie silence. Some claim to have seen her weeping, while others report a cold, unnatural stillness that chills them to the bone. Then there are the ghostly hitchhikers. Many travelers have picked up what they believe to be a stranded motorist, only for their passenger to disappear without a trace. These hitchhikers often share chilling stories or ask cryptic questions, adding to the unsettling nature of the encounter. Some vanish from the moving vehicle, while others simply seem to fade away when the driver stops to let them out. These encounters often leave the driver with a deep sense of dread, convinced they have been in the presence of something not of this world. The legend of Satan's sedan is another tale that adds to the haunted reputation of Route 666. Witnesses describe an ominous black car that appears out of nowhere, often speeding towards them with no regard for safety. This vehicle is said to exude a malevolent presence, and many believe it is driven by a demonic entity. Those who have encountered Satan's sedan report feeling an overwhelming sense of fear and an urge to flee. The car is often seen only at night, its headlights piercing the darkness before disappearing as suddenly as it appeared. Some speculate that it is a manifestation of the highway's cursed past, a reminder of the countless lives lost on its treacherous stretches. Route 666 is also home to numerous reports of UFO sightings. Drivers have recounted seeing strange lights in the sky, moving in ways that defy explanation. These lights often follow vehicles, hovering above the road before darting away at incredible speeds. Some witnesses claim to have seen entire spacecraft, with vivid descriptions of their otherworldly designs. These encounters often leave drivers disoriented and frightened, unsure of what they have just experienced. The combination of these sightings with the already eerie reputation of the highway only adds to the sense of dread that surrounds it. Disappearances and time loss are another common theme along Route 666. Many travelers have set out on the highway only to vanish without a trace. In some cases, their vehicles are found abandoned with no sign of the driver. Others reappear hours or even days later, with no memory of where they have been or what has happened to them. These incidents often leave families and friends in a state of anguish, with no explanation for their loved one's sudden disappearance. Those who do return often speak of strange dreams or feelings of being watched, adding to the mystery and fear surrounding the highway. The phenomenon of time loss is particularly unsettling. Drivers have reported traveling what should have been a short distance, only to find that hours have passed without their knowledge. This lost time is often accompanied by feelings of confusion and disorientation, as if they have been in a trance. Some speculate that this could be the result of alien abductions or other supernatural forces at work. Whatever the cause, these incidents contribute to the haunted lore of Route 666, making it a place where time itself seems to bend and warp. In addition to these supernatural occurrences, Route 666 is also known for its treacherous conditions. The long, rural stretches with few turns, combined with frequent animal crossings and drunk driving, create a dangerous environment. Many accidents have occurred on this highway, adding to its reputation as a cursed and haunted road. The high fatality rate, particularly in the New Mexico portion, has led to numerous ghostly sightings and spooky activity. These accidents often leave behind restless spirits, adding to the already heavy sense of unease that hangs over the highway. As one travels Route 666, the sense of foreboding and fear grows stronger. The combination of ghostly apparitions, demonic entities, UFO sightings, and unexplained disappearances creates a highway that is truly one of the most haunted in America. Each mile traveled brings new stories and encounters, making it a journey into the heart of darkness itself. For those who dare to travel Route 666, the experience is one of terror and mystery, never knowing what might be lurking just around the next bend. As we reach the end of our journey down Route 666, now known as Route 491, it is clear that this highway's haunted reputation is deeply ingrained in the landscape and its history. From the tales of hellhounds and Satan's sedan to the ghostly hitchhikers and mysterious disappearances, every mile of this road is steeped in eerie encounters and unexplained phenomena. The highway's legacy as the Devil's Highway continues to captivate and terrify those who travel its lonely, desolate stretches. The renaming of Route 666 to Route 491 was an attempt to shed the negative connotations associated with its former number. While the new designation may have reduced the psychological fear for some, the legends and ghost stories have not faded. The spectral girl in the white dress, the menacing semi-truck, and the ominous black sedan still haunt the memories of those who have encountered them. Despite the change in numbers, the essence of the highway remains the same, shrouded in mystery and fear. The high fatality rate and frequent accidents have undoubtedly contributed to the ghostly tales. The dangerous driving conditions, combined with the isolation of the desert, create a perfect backdrop for supernatural stories. Many believe that the restless spirits of those who lost their lives on this highway continue to roam, unable to find peace. These spirits, combined with the dark legends and sightings of UFOs, make Route 666 a hotspot for paranormal activity. Route 666 is not just a road. It is a symbol of the unknown and the unexplainable. It serves as a reminder of the thin veil between our world and the supernatural. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, the stories surrounding this highway are enough to give anyone pause. The combination of historical tragedies, cultural legends, and first-hand accounts of eerie encounters makes it one of the most intriguing and feared highways in America. For those who seek adventure and are brave enough to travel this haunted road, Route 666 offers a unique experience. It is a journey through a landscape where reality and legend blur, where every shadow and distant light might be something more than it seems. As we conclude our exploration of this haunted highway, we are left with a sense of awe and respect for the stories that have emerged from its dark past. In the end, Route 666 remains a powerful testament to the enduring nature of folklore and the human fascination with the supernatural. Its haunted history continues to draw curious travelers, ghost hunters, and thrill seekers. Whether driven by a desire to uncover the truth or simply to experience the eerie atmosphere, those who venture onto Route 666 do so with the understanding that they are stepping into a place where the ordinary rules of the world do not always apply. So as you consider your next road trip or ghost hunting adventure, remember the legends of Route 666. Approach with caution and keep your eyes open for the spirits that may still wander its desolate stretches. The haunted highway awaits, ready to reveal its secrets to those who dare to travel its length. San Francisco, a city known for its iconic Golden Gate Bridge, steep hills, and vibrant culture, also carries a rich history of hauntings and ghost stories. This city, with its foggy weather and old buildings, seems to be a perfect setting for the supernatural. From its early days, San Francisco was a fairly lawless city, attracting all sorts of characters and events that have led to its haunted reputation. The city has seen its share of tragedies and dark events. During the Gold Rush era, people from all over the world flocked to San Francisco seeking fortune. This rapid influx led to chaos, crime, and many untimely deaths. Fires, earthquakes, and epidemics also plagued the city, leaving behind many restless spirits. These tragic events have contributed to the city's haunted history, making it one of the most ghostly places in the United States. As we delve into San Francisco's haunted history, you'll see why it remains a city full of eerie tales and mysterious encounters. San Francisco's reputation as a haunted city has grown over the years, thanks to the many eerie tales and ghostly encounters reported by locals and visitors alike. The city's turbulent history, marked by crime, natural disasters, and personal tragedies, has left an indelible mark on its streets and buildings. These events have given rise to numerous ghost stories, making San Francisco a hotspot for paranormal enthusiasts. One of the most famous tragedies in San Francisco's history is the 1906 earthquake and subsequent fire. The disaster destroyed much of the city, and thousands of people lost their lives. It's said that many of the spirits of those who perished in the earthquake still linger in the city's ruins, their presence felt in the creaking of old buildings and the whispers in the night. Additionally, the city's history of violence, from the lawless days of the gold rush to the organized crime of the early 20th century, has also contributed to its haunted reputation. Murders, suicides, and other untimely deaths have left many restless spirits wandering the streets, unable to find peace. San Francisco's Chinatown, one of the oldest and largest in the United States, is particularly known for its haunted past. The area was rife with crime and exploitation, especially during the early 20th century when many Chinese immigrants were forced into slavery and prostitution. The Presbyterian Mission House, where Donald Dana Cameron rescued over 3,000 Chinese girls and women from such fates, is a place of both hope and horror. Despite its noble mission, the building witnessed many deaths and tragedies, and the spirits of those who suffered there are said to still haunt the place. As we explore the haunted places in San Francisco, you'll discover that the city's ghostly tales are as diverse and intriguing as the city itself. From haunted mansions to eerie theaters, San Francisco's supernatural stories offer a glimpse into its dark and mysterious past. San Francisco's haunted locations are numerous, each with its own spine-chilling tales and spectral residents. One such place is the Cameron House in Chinatown. Originally the Presbyterian Mission House, it now serves the community, but retains its haunted past. Visitors report seeing white figures in photographs and feeling an eerie presence. The basement, sealed shut, holds the tragic history of young girls who perished in a fire. Their spirits believed to linger in the dark, hidden corners, whispering in the silence. Another infamous location is 1000 Lombard Street, once the home of socialite Pat Montandon. After a party where a tarot card reader cursed the house, a series of inexplicable and terrifying events began. The temperature would drop suddenly, doors locked on their own, and blood-like stains appeared on the ceiling. Montandon's dog, Doug, would bark frantically at unseen entities, and the house was plagued by burglaries and a sense of foreboding. The ultimate horror struck when Montandon's friend, Mary Louise Ward, died mysteriously during a fire. Found face down in the bed, with no clear cause of death, her spirit is said to roam the house, seeking answers. The Whittier Mansion is another site of ghostly activity. Built by railroad magnate William Franklin Whittier, the mansion has seen its fair share of tragedy. Whittier's wife died before she could live in the house, and Whittier himself died there years later. The mansion later housed the German consulate, where it's rumored German spies once operated. Now a private residence, it is haunted by various spirits. Some say it's the German spies. Others claim it's Whittier himself, still waiting for his wife. The most unsettling presence is that of Billy Whittier, who haunts the wine cellar, a reminder of his hedonistic and tragic life. The Queen Anne Hotel, originally Miss Mary Lake's School for Young Ladies, is home to the friendly yet unsettling spirit of Mary Lake. Room 410, once her office, is where she is most often seen or felt. Guests have reported their suitcases being unpacked, their rooms tidied, and even being tucked into bed by unseen hands. Mary Lake's ghostly presence is a comforting yet eerie reminder of her dedication to the school and its students. The current theater is haunted by the ghost of Hewlett Tarr, a ticket taker killed during a robbery in 1933. His murderer, Eddie Anderson, was hanged for his crime, but Tarr's spirit remains. Theatergoers have reported seeing Tarr's reflection in mirrors, dressed in 1930s attire, with a look of perpetual confusion and sorrow. His presence is a chilling reminder of the violent act that ended his life. Stowe Lake, a tranquil spot in the Golden Gate Park, harbors the ghost of the White Lady. Legend has it that a young mother lost her baby when the stroller rolled into the lake. In her frantic search, she drowned, and her spirit now haunts the lake. On foggy nights, the White Lady can be seen wandering the shores, asking passers-by if they've seen her baby, her ghostly figure, a sorrowful sight against the misty backdrop. San Francisco's haunted history is rich and varied, with each location offering a glimpse into the city's tragic past and the restless spirits that remain. As we continue to explore these haunted places, the tales of ghostly encounters only grow more disturbing and fascinating. San Francisco's spectral tapestry weaves further with more chilling tales from its haunted locales. At 1990, California Street stands the imposing Atherton Mansion, where restless spirits are said to roam its halls. Built by Dominga Degoni Atherton, the widow of Faxon Dean Atherton, this mansion became notorious after the untimely death of their son George. George, who met his end at sea and was returned in a barrel of rum, is believed to be the source of incessant knocking and door slamming within the mansion. Tenants have reported hearing anguished voices and experiencing sudden drops in temperature, suggesting George's spirit is forever tormented by his tragic demise. The Golden Gate Park is not just a haven for nature lovers, it's also a hotspot for paranormal activity. The legend of the ghostly police officer is one of the park's most infamous tales. Drivers have reported being pulled over by a phantom cop, only to discover later that the officer listed on their citation had died years ago. Those who venture into the park at night often recount feeling an oppressive presence and witnessing unexplained foggy apparitions. The mysterious officer vanishes as soon as you leave the park's boundaries, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and uneasy feelings. The Cameron House in Chinatown, originally a safe haven for Chinese immigrant women, harbors a dark past that continues to resonate through its walls. The building's secret passageways and hidden rooms, designed to protect the girls from brothel owners and slave traders, now echo with their trapped spirits. Some visitors claim to hear faint cries and see fleeting shadows in the corners of their vision. The basement, where many perished in a tragic fire, remains sealed, but the heavy atmosphere suggests the spirits are still present, forever linked to their place of suffering. One of the most unsettling tales is that of the White Lady of Stowe Lake. This man-made lake in the Golden Gate Park has been the site of numerous sightings of a spectral woman dressed in white. Legend states she was a young mother whose baby disappeared into the lake while she was distracted. Her spirit, consumed by grief and guilt, now wanders the lakeside, pleading with visitors to help her find her lost child. Those who encounter her speak of a profound sadness and an inexplicable chill that lingers long after the apparition fades. Flora Somerton's ghost is another tragic figure in San Francisco's haunted history. Flora fled her engagement party in a fit of despair and was never seen again until her body was discovered in Montana 50 years later. Her ghost, dressed in the same elaborate gown she wore that fateful night, is often seen walking down California Street. Witnesses describe her as a weeping figure, her face a mask of sorrow, seemingly trapped in a moment of unending heartache. The Curran Theater, where Hewlett Tarr was murdered, continues to be a site of eerie occurrences. Patrons and staff have reported seeing Tarr's ghost in the lobby mirrors, his expression one of confusion and sadness. Some have felt a cold breeze or heard faint whispers as they passed by the ticket booth where he was killed. His presence is a haunting reminder of the violent crime that took his life. Leaving his spirit unable to move on, San Francisco's haunted places each tell a story of tragedy, unfulfilled desires, and restless spirits. As we delve deeper into these ghostly encounters, the city's dark history comes to life, revealing a side of San Francisco that is both fascinating and terrifying. The tales of these haunted locations continue to captivate and chill those who dare to explore them. San Francisco's haunted history is a testament to the city's complex and often tragic past. From the restless spirits of the Atherton Mansion to the sorrowful apparition of the White Lady at Stowe Lake, each ghostly tale reveals a layer of the city's soul. These stories remind us that behind San Francisco's vibrant facade lies a history filled with untold grief, unresolved conflicts, and unfulfilled dreams. The Cameron House stands as a somber reminder of the struggles faced by Chinese immigrant women, with their spirits lingering in the hidden corners of the building. The ghostly police officer of Golden Gate Park and the spectral figure of Flora Somerton wandering California Street encapsulate the city's haunted essence. These stories are not just about fear, but also about the enduring human spirit and the profound impact of past events on the present. The Curran Theater and its spectral visitor, Hewlett Tarr, serve as a poignant reminder of how sudden and violent ends can leave souls tethered to the places where they met their fate. Similarly, the echoes of tragedy in the Whittier Mansion, where ghosts of past occupants and alleged spies still roam, add to the city's eerie charm. San Francisco's ghost stories are a unique blend of horror and history, offering a glimpse into the lives of those who came before us. They tell of love lost, lives cut short, and the indomitable spirit of those who refuse to be forgotten. Exploring these haunted locations provides not just a thrill, but also a deep respect for the city's rich and tumultuous past. As we conclude our journey through San Francisco's haunted sites, we are left with a sense of awe at the stories etched into its very fabric. These tales are a reminder that history is never truly behind us. It lives on in the whispers of the wind, the creaks of old floorboards, and the chilling apparitions that continue to walk among us. San Francisco, with its beautiful landscapes and vibrant culture, also holds a darker spectral side that continues to fascinate and haunt those who dare to look closer.